Welcome. I'm Ada Kay, your deaf courtroom commentator, breaking down the gripping courtroom drama, providing ASL interpretation when possible, while making justice accessible to everyone. Grab your favorite cup of Java and let's dive in. Well, hello, everybody. Wow. I had a wonderful meeting tonight. Yeah, I did. I'm going to zoom this just a hair. Whoops. There we go. I had a fabulous meeting tonight. It was a wonderful time. I had a live going and everything just kind of froze. Let me zoom out of here. Everything just kind of froze, and I didn't think we were going to have a verdict. That's what I get for thinking. And I decided to end the live because it was frozen, and I'm 30 minutes drive away from my home computer, and there's nothing I could do. And no sooner did it end that I get all these verdicts. I'm like, oh crap. So we had a fun day with Donna Adelson. I really did not think it was going to come that quick. Hey. Hello, long time no see, beloved. We had a verdict. I'm sure a lot of you already seen this. I've not. I've heard about it. Now, before I go any further, I got a trial pair of contacts in. The distance is beautiful. I'm actually seeing myself clearly. It's not fuzzy anymore. But the close-up still needs a little bit of work. Not a lot, but we're close. So yeah, I don't have glasses. I'm so excited. Hey, Christy, thanks for joining. So I have not seen the video. I hear she had an outburst. Oh, thank you. Well, you're going to see my reaction. And on top of that, we're going to look at the interviews and that kind of stuff. We're going to talk about it. I want to hear from y'all. I see a thumbnail of Donna going, wah. I am so happy she was found guilty. I got to be honest with you. Now I want them to go after Wendy, and I think they can because. Are y'all hearing me okay? Yes. Well, I was at a meeting when Donna Adelson's verdict came down, and I was not live. In fact, the live ended just minutes before the verdict, and I was out of town. So 30-minute drive out of town, but not too far. So I couldn't just run back and get it started. Oh, Brooklyn. Wow. 7 a.m. Good morning. I hope you had a fabulous sleep. Get yourself a good cup of hot coffee, tea, whatever your breakfast drink is, smoothie, whatever, and sit down and let's watch this because I hear it's a little dramatic. Everyone's posting in my Discord their pet pictures, and I'm like, I'm live, guys. So anyway. Yes, I know. I'm gonna try to get I got a mod here. So I'm just letting my mods know I'm live. Hello, guys. I'm live. Come and join us. Some of my mods are sleeping. There it is. Welcome. I'm giving people time to hop in. Hello, everybody. Hi, State of Confusion Moon. Hey, Brooklyn. Hey, Deborah. Hey, June. Oh, everybody. No, I'm just letting everybody know I'm live. Playing in the pet photos. I know I saw. That's why I figured everybody was playing in the pet photos. I might as well let y'all know there that I was live. I know how to get my people. I know how to get my people. Okay. Mods, just letting you know. I'm in live chat. Okay. I have not seen the video. I wanted to wait to see it with y'all. I mean, I heard it about it. All right. Yeah. Let's see how all this went down. Yeah, Deborah. Okay, I will tell you that being that I was a wife of, I know where that poor husband is going through. That he's sitting right there. My husband went to prison, and but I wasn't waiting for the verdict. I walked in the middle of verdict because they didn't let me know that verdict was in until, well, hi G14, until they were ready to read verdict. So it was a nightmare. But the family is coming in. Is Dan Merkel's are his parents still married? I'm curious. No, they are not. Okay. Well, confirmed separation, but not divorced. Separated, but not divorced. Current documentation. Okay, that helps. She's held but hyperventilating, y'all. Honey boo, those glamour glasses will be the last pair you get. The next ones are going to be a piece of crap. You know they're going to put her on suicide watch.
Everyone understands whatever the verdict will be in the case. I do not want there to be any gesturing or anyone making any movements that you either agree or disagree with the verdict. We are going to respect what the jury's decision is, and we are not going to subject.
They say they're legally not divorced yet.
Motion, whether it be from the gallery or the parties.
We'll look it up again.
Anyone believes they are not capable of following this instruction, I'd ask you to step outside at this time. Mrs. Adelson also as well, once this verdict is read, again, I'm going to advise you, do not have any displays of emotion.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. There's going to be a big display of emotion. Oh, she knows she's guilty. That's not very confident looking, I'll tell you that much. And those lawyers, man,
Please bring in the jury.
did not do her any justice. Yeah, no, she's on the self-harm watch. And it's not fun being in the self-harm watch. They strip you naked and put a padded blanket on you. Boy, they're packed. That photographer, you got a great spot, man. Just cleaning them so I can put them away. Put them away. I feel for him. I really do. As the spouse of someone, I have been in those shoes. It sucks. Well, he went home a bachelor, and he has one hell of a bachelor pad. They didn't make her stand?
Has the jury reached a unanimous verdict? If you please can hand the verdict form to the bailiff.
Aw. Shared on X, but I have about 9,000 followers now. Oh,
Having reviewed the verdict form, it is in its proper order.
cool.
At this time, I will publish the verdict.
We
The
don't.
jury find as follows as to count 1 of the indictment, first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder. Mrs. Adelson, control yourself. Count 2. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 2 of the indictment, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. Count 3. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 3 of the indictment, solicitation to commit first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of solicitation to commit first-degree murder.
I don't know. Let's go back. I want to see that. My hearing aid's cracked out on that. I want to see if I can see your hands. I want to see that again.
We, the jury, find as follows as to count 1 of the indictment, first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder. Mrs. Adelson, control yourself.
She's handcuffed.
Count 2. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 2 of the indictment, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. Count 3. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 3 of the indictment, solicitation to commit first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of solicitation to commit first-degree murder. And it is signed and dated by the foreperson. One moment. Members of the jury, the bailiff will escort you to the jury room.
Some people don't shed a lot of tears when they cry.
Mrs. Adelson, while this was not the outcome I'm sure that you desired, there will not be any further outbursts in front of the jury. If you cannot control yourself, I am going to have to determine if you will be removed from the remainder of this process.
That's raw. I'm not going to say she's faking that. That raw.
Do you understand?
That real raw.
To you? Do you need a moment to collect yourself? Before the jurors are brought back in, we will take a brief 2-minute break. Please give her tissues if she needs them.
Where's the female attorney? Is she in front of that guy? Oh my God. Oh, I see. It looks like...
The jurors are brought back.
Sorry. Looks like the woman is sitting in his lap. I'm sorry. She must be really squished into that table. They're all, oh my God.
When the jurors are brought back,
I am.
Room,
Mother Papillon.
To have the jurors polled before.
Willoughby.
Yes, Your Honor. Very well.
TMM, hello. Rubber Ramada, hello. I appreciate liking it. Everybody is on tonight will get an entry. I didn't set it up. So everybody gets an entry if you're on. You don't have to do the I liked. I haven't even finished my dinner from whenever ago. Oh, look at that person in shorts. Oh my God. What are you doing in a courtroom in shorts? And those kind of shorts. Really? Trying out contacts for the first time in 30 years.
Bring back in the jurors so we can conclude with their portion of the trial.
Wait, I want to lip read her. I'm going to lip read her. Hold on. Now I'm getting hungry.
Jurors so we can conclude with their portion of the trial.
This is not just. I got to do it again.
Please bring back in the jurors so we can conclude with their portion of the trial.
I hear the I hear the bells of a divorce coming. I think she's going to get divorced. He's going to divorce her. Oh my God, I know. Oh, they're going to appeal it. I'm sorry for snacking. I've started new meds and my stomach is
Members of the
so.
jury, before I discharge you for this evening, I am briefly going to poll you to
Poor guy.
concerning whether your verdict is unanimous at the request of one of the parties. When you hear your last name, please appropriately respond.
Okay, they're going to mute that, I'm sure. Yep. Y'all, I have been the spouse of someone convicted. And in my community and everybody that knew us, either they supported me or they blamed me. And I know what that walk is like. Now, I'm not been on national, well, we were on national TV, but not to this level. I have to tell you, I don't know if he knew anything when it was going on. At some point, he learned about it. But at his age, I'd be worried about him being self-harming. I don't know. It is horrible. It would be no. He would need to divorce her. Oh my God! Yeah. Thank you, June. I've been so involved with this, I forgot.
Give to you before you are discharged. Please listen carefully. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank you for your time and consideration of this case. I also wish to advise you of some very special privileges that are enjoyed by jurors. No juror can ever be required to talk about the discussions that occurred
June, give me the final score, please, when it's done. Thank you.
in the jury room, except by court order. For many centuries, our society has relied upon juries for consideration of difficult cases. We have recognized for hundreds of years that a jury's deliberations, discussions, and votes should remain their private affair as long as they wish it. Therefore, the law gives you a unique privilege not to speak about the jury's work. Although you are at liberty to speak with anyone about your deliberations, you are also at liberty to refuse to speak to anyone. A request to discuss either your verdict or your deliberations may come from those who are simply curious, from those who might seek to find fault with you, from the media, from attorneys, or elsewhere. It will be up to you to decide whether to preserve your privacy as a juror. With that being said, I want to extend my thanks on behalf of the entire Second Circuit for your service in this matter. You are discharged. Have a good evening. As to the jury's verdict, with the jury having found the defendant guilty of the three charges of the indictment, is the defense asking for a pre-sentence report on counts 2 and 3. As to count 1, the penalty is statutory and essentially there is no modification for it.
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, pre-sentence investigation and report is ordered by the court as to counts 2 and 3. As to count 1, is there any reason why we cannot proceed to sentencing on this matter?
Your Honor, we would request an opportunity to ensure that our client is okay before we proceed to sentencing. It's my understanding that Charlie Adelson wasn't sentenced right away. We're asking for the same courtesy.
Very well. The court then will set a separate sentencing date.
I want to hear that again.
Is statutory, and essentially there is no modification for it.
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, pre-sentence investigation and report is ordered by the court as to counts 2 and 3. As to count 1, is there any reason why we cannot proceed to sentencing on this matter?
Your Honor, we would request an opportunity to ensure that our client is okay before we proceed to sentencing.
My hearing aids crack out right at the most important
One.
part.
Is there any reason why we cannot proceed to sentencing on this matter?
Your Honor, we would request an opportunity to ensure that our client is okay before we proceed to sentencing. It's my understanding that Charlie Adelson wasn't sentenced right away. We're asking for the same courtesy.
Very well. The court then will set a separate sentencing date.
May I inquire whether the family members that are present would like to give victim impact now or at the future date?
Go ahead.
What difference does it make about Charlie? This is not a Charlie trial. This is her trial. That photographer, if I knew who she's working for, I would be writing in. And well, maybe she ran in because she was jogging or something. Yeah. Well, yeah, that was a last minute thing.
Right
Always
there in
have a
front of
pair.
the attorney.
I was a photographer professional. I've done some court stuff. And I got to tell you, we always have a pair of black slacks and a black shirt and a pair of black shoes in our car. Always. The way she's dressed in that court is totally unacceptable. She's a professional. She's representing an organization. I don't care if she was exercising in the gym. Throw a pair of pants on over those shorts. Jacket, I can tolerate. And I know that may upset people, but that's the way I feel.
If you please can identify yourself for the record.
Yes, my name is Ruth Mark. Sorry?
I'm worried you're going to trip.
Okay, I already did. My name is Ruth Markel.
You may give your impact statement, ma'am.
Thank you, Judge Everett. To the Honorable Judge Everett, my name is Ruth Markel. I am the mother of the late Dan Markel. I stand before you today to express the profound sadness and grief that Dan's family and I have endured since his tragic murder. We have lost a treasure. My son Dan's life was cut tragically short at 41 years old. For 11 years, we have been forced to a life filled with unimaginable pain and heartbreak. Dan's father, Phil, and his sister, Shelley, share in this unending sorrow. Dan was a devoted father, brother, and son. Dan's life was marked by his devotion to family, education, and community. He was a loving, caring, and inspiring person. His academic journey included studying politics and philosophy at Harvard University, earning a master's degree later in political theory from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem and the Emmanuel College in Cambridge, and later going back to Harvard to get a law degree. Dan was a prolific scholar and did start, co-founded the influential Prof's blog. His energy, drive, and sociability greatly enriched the FSU College of Law. Dan's life was filled with passion, music, dance, sports, travel, and people. But of all my son's accomplishments, however, I am most proud of the devoted father Danny was to his two sons, Benjamin and Lincoln. Dan was present, loving, and supportive, always putting his children's well-being first. He regularly attended the boys' daycares, reading with them. His office was filled with their drawings, and his home, his living room, filled with their toys. Dan was the boys' hero, and they have been forced to grow up without a father. Dan's murder has shattered our family and caused deep permanent pain. This was a particularly senseless crime, and the murder was particularly insensible. It was not revenge. Dan was a law-abiding and respectful citizen, an active father, and a living son. His life was devoted to teaching and helping others. The pain and suffering of Dan's murder goes well beyond other families too. That is why I wrote the book, A Mother's Unveiling, The Unveiling, A Mother's Reflection on Murder, Grief, and Trial Life. In my unrelenting grief, I turned to advocacy, to feel purpose, and to help others with these tragic losses. I have found meaning and comfort to connect with others who want to serve justice. To all the community of journalists, TV programs, podcasters, Tallahassee communities, and the allies who have put their hearts in keeping Danny's story alive, we are full of thanks. To law enforcement and prosecutors, our gratitude is beyond for their dedicated, careful perseverance in seeking justice for Danny and our family. If Tallahassee is known for football, Tallahassee should be known for the prosecution and for law enforcement. They have done an outstanding job. These extraordinary efforts underscore the brutal truth of our family story. Danny's murder was orchestrated by his former mother-in-law, Donna Adelson, and other co-conspirators, and is a crime of cruelty. It is a murder of grief, a murder of selfishly prioritizing one's own desires over what is just or right. And at its core, this was a murder of convenience, so that one grandmother could live closer to her grandchildren. She killed their father and ripped the children from the other grandparents' lives.
Mhm.
Donna Adelson's crimes against Dan began long before his murder. She belittled Dan in front of his children. She spread lies about him and contributed to a brutal separation between Dan and Wendy. She rented the house, and Dan came home and he found that Wendy and the boys were gone with most of their belongings. He called this devastation Pearl Harbor. Donna's eagerness for Wendy to divorce Dan and to relocate to South Florida led her to increasingly devise desperate schemes. Despite these efforts, the court ruled that Wendy could not move the boys away from their loving father. Failing to achieve her goal through legal means, Donna finally resorted to orchestrating Dan's murder. She plotted, planned, and paid for his murder. Donna's crimes led to further devastation. Her middle son, Charlie, was convicted and sentenced to a life in prison for his role in facilitating Danny's murder for hire. Can you imagine a mother involving a son to complete a murder? Donna's eldest son, Rob, an honest and decent man, is estranged from the family, and her younger child, Wendy, has decided once again to relocate to another state. Her actions and those of her co-conspirators have caused children to lose their parents. Catherine McManus, Freda Garcia, and Charlie Adelson, also convicted, are all convicted for life and have lost access to their children. Prior to her arrest, Donna's recorded phone calls with Charlie reveal their lack of a moral compass or capacity for self-reflection. She blames external forces for her family's curse. They're outside of her, but she is the curse, and lashes out angrily at witnesses who took the brave step to testify. Her modus operandi has always been to run from Tallahassee and then to try to flee to Vietnam. For our family, there is no such prospect for escape. Danny's absence, and that leaves a hole at the center of our lives, no matter where we go. Yet Dan's murder was not enough for Donna. His death was not enough. Danny had to be fully erased from his beloved sons. The boy's last name was ever changed, an extraordinary decision to excise the Markell name from Phil's only grandsons who shared his last name. And after the first arrests were made, Donna didn't allow the Markell family to have access for over 6 years. It was only when there was a phenomenal Tallahassee advocacy group that passed the Markell Act. The passage of this bill was immediately followed by our first invitation to see the boys after the arrest. The door only cracked open. Despite these efforts, we remain excluded from the boys' lives. We were not at their bar mitzvahs or graduations. We have extremely highly choreographed visits and communications. We only wait for the day that Benjamin and Lincoln will visit their father and his grave, and his father's history, and his grave in Toronto. We want nothing more. The facts of Danny's murder, are difficult to swallow. The experiences Phil, Shelley, and I have been forced to suffer are profound as homicide survivors and victims of the criminal system. The lives of Danny's 2 sons, our grandchildren, were forever turned upside down by this crime. Benjamin and Lincoln were only preschoolers when their father was murdered, and now they are forced to confront and try to understand the unthinkable crimes of murder and the Adelsons' involvement. Our lives will never return to normal. For those who loved Danny and for those who Danny loved, there is no escape from the wicked effects of what Donna Adelson set in motion, carried out, and paid for, and for many years enjoyed the aftermath of. Donna Adelson has caused immense devastation and an untimely, undeserved murder through her actions. While no trial or verdict can ever heal the profound wounds caused by Dan's murder, justice must be served. I respectfully ask the court to impose the maximum sentence on Donna Adelson. Her lack of cooperation and remorse throughout the case demands justice, the justice that Dan's life and memory fully deserve. We are immensely grateful to the court for its careful and compassionate deliberation. Respectively, Ruth Markell.
Thank you, Ms. Markell.
Well
Are there
done.
any other victim impact statements this evening?
But understand that both of these people, I hope y'all can hear me because I can't hear myself. Both of these people have had to do this multiple times. 1, 2, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times they've had to do the victim impact statement. So they're getting good at it. June, what's the Dallas Cowboy game? I can't get it.
If you please could tell us your name for the record.
Good evening. My name is Phil Markell. I'm Danny's father. Judge Everett, I appreciate the opportunity to speak about the impact of Donna Adelson's actions on my families and the families of so many others. While this victim impact statement is addressed to you, Your Honor,
Thank you.
it is also intended for the Adelson
Thank
family,
you.
Harvey, Charlie, Wendy, and particularly Donna. I would like them to understand and reflect on the deep and irreparable damage they have caused. The pain that they have caused my family is obvious and permanent, but they have also caused lifelong harm to their own immediate family and so many other families and children around. Donna's selfishness, cruelty, and complete disrespect for human life, along with that of her co-conspirators, have left families forever broken. Louis Rivera, his children have no father. Catherine Magbanawa and Sigfredo Garcia, their children have no parents. Charlie Adelson, his son, Roman, has no father. Rob Adelson and his wife and their 2 children have lost their uncle and grandparents. Shelley and Ian, my daughter, their 3 children, my grandchildren, are left without an uncle and are separated from their cousins. Of course, their heinous and callous actions have left me, Ruth, and Shelley without our Danny, and Ben and Lincoln without their father. For anyone to commit such a cold-blooded, unprovoked act of murder is horrific. For Donna, someone who claims to care so much about Ben and Lincoln, her sun shines. Her actions are beyond comprehension. She has harmed forever the people she claims to have loved. In the Jewish custom, we have an expression to always wish others to live to 120 years of age. For Donna, I wish her to live to 120, alone in her jail cell. I wish that every day of her remaining days, she thinks about the harm she has caused to so many, especially those 2 boys she claims to have loved so much. For these reasons, Your Honor, I ask the court sentence Donna Adelson to the maximum possible sentence. And my only short question to Donna, was it worth it? Respectfully, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Markel. Are there any other matters that the court needs to address this evening, Ms. Koppelman?
Look,
PSI being ordered,
okay. Look how demeanor she's being. You know, inside that woman's got to be happy. PSI is a series of evaluations, tests, and they will go and determine her risk. It will help them in determining where she's placed. Wow, but she may already have done it. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think she can travel.
court will pronounce the sentence as to counts 2 and 3 after it's been completed. The parties have had an opportunity to review the pre-sentence investigation report and make any objections if they believe they need to. As to the 3 counts that the jury has found the defendant guilty of, I will adjudicate her guilty at this time, but the sentence will be pronounced as to the 3 counts at a later date. She is remanded for sentencing at this time. Lieutenant Henry, please notify the commander at the jail that the appropriate screening needs to take place to ensure that
Yeah.
the defendant is in an area where she is not subject to any self-harm.
Okay, I want to talk about that, and we will talk about Wendy. First of all, what he just did. Watch that again, y'all. This is brutal.
Lieutenant Henry, please notify the commander at the jail that the appropriate screening needs to take place to ensure that the defendant is in an area where she is not subject to any self-harm. for a case management date coming up, what would the parties request?
Ms. Dugan's October court date in order.
Leave that is 10/14. Is that correct, Ms. Dugan?
Yes, sir.
October 14th for case management at 2:30 p.m. That will be in the normal courtroom 3B. Patricia, if you can make sure that the notice goes to DOC so they are aware that the PSI needs to be completed as soon as possible. Thank you. We are in recess at this time. We will reconvene on October 14th. Have a good evening, everyone.
They're not giving her an option. They're taking her. It's like, out, you're convicted. We're done. You're horrible. You can't see anybody. Nope, nope, nope. You can't. You gotta go. Nope, nope. You can't say goodbye. We're done. You're out of here. So long. Farewell. We're glad to say goodbye. Goodbye. Hey, Angela. I hope you're feeling better, boo. I'm so sorry. I forgot in the franticness that you had surgery. Okay. All right. We've got other things we're going to watch in a minute, but I want to talk about that self-harm. They will put her in a room with nothing but a padded, what I call the moving pad gown. He wants to make sure, the judge wants to make sure that she's alive for her sentencing. Yeah, this is going to be hell night for her. This is going to be worse than what it was like for the first night she was in prison. So we did watch that. We watched that. This is what I want to see next.
In this office. And I care about, all of them, but obviously.
Sorry about the mic. It was loud. I apologize. I had it gained up all the way for court.
Death had on the community there.
I think overall, Florida State just has a really tight community. I mean, the alumni continue to be involved. It's a it's a big football school. Everybody likes to come back and be part of the boosters. And so I think it was shocking when it happens. I'm no longer in Tallahassee. I'm in California, but I still get news of what's going on and still, get the updates and
it may be worse for her.
Track the trial. But I think overall.
Where is the I don't want that. I want. Come on, people. I'm looking for the interview. I don't have the interview. Let me get it. I thought this was going to have it, but.
And that's the way this has gone thus far.
Okay, I'll find it.
Worried tonight.
Well, she should definitely be worried. But if I were a betting man, I would bet that the state is not going to press charges against her. And I'll tell you why. First, they've had 11 years to press charges against her, and they haven't done so. And if you recall, the only reason why they were able to bring charges against Donna was because, number one, they initiated a street performance, so to speak, where they gave her a note and wanted, from a ransom note, and wanted to see how she reacts, right?
The bump. Yes.
And they also had the jailhouse snitches. So they had some evidence that came in later that were really able to help them bring charges against Donna. And I don't know if they're going to have that kind of stuff against Wendy. I think that they need more than just suspicion, because it's hard to imagine that this murder took place without Wendy knowing, because she has the most to gain from it, right? And you're telling me that the family did this for her benefit, and she had no idea? Probably not, but.
Okay, we're going to switch.
Ms. Markel, do you believe that everyone who participated in this crime has been held accountable?
I'll let other people in my family talk about that.
Okay.
First of all, just one little side for you. We were
Trauma and gifts. Tonight, I'll talk about, I said the trauma inside. The loss of Danny Markel is a great loss for all of us. And the gifts are all the people who've supported us, our allies from FSU University, the Tallahassee community, and all of you in the media, of which we've had tremendous support. Social media, podcasters, print, and all other aspects of helping us produce and deliver this very important communication. So thank you. We are grateful.
Okay, real quick, I want to answer. So up early, saw the title, so popping in so we'd have a verdict. When was it? It was a few hours ago. I think it was right about 7 o'clock-ish. I was in a conference meeting, so I couldn't live stream it anymore. So I'm coming on live for all of you. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Maida Kay. I am your deaf courtroom commentator. I can speak because I grew up hearing. I became deaf as an adult. So yes, she was found guilty on all accounts. They will have this sentencing October 14th. I think at 9:30 in the morning. We're going to look at some interviews.
You mentioned the Markel Act in your comments, and I know so many people are wondering, will the Markel family be able to enjoy the protections of the Markel Act that is made for you?
Well, the Markel Act actually it's specific to, just to answer the question very specifically, it's part of having a civil or a criminal offense against the spouse of a person who has been deceased. We have had access because of the Markel Act. So as it was passed, it opened up. Wendy had invited us to the bar mitzvahs. We had a little bit of an opportunity to have communications and so forth, but they're highly choreographed. It's not a natural process. We're looking for when we can communicate via email, via phone. We have everything is done still through Wendy's devices, let's call it, and time frames. So we're looking for that more natural opportunity.
Ms. Markel, do you believe that everyone who participated in this crime has been held accountable?
I'll let other people in my family talk about that.
Okay.
First of all, just one little side for you. We were originally invited to the first bar mitzvah, and then we were disinvited from it. So just to clarify. My comments. First of all, I'm very, very grateful to the jury. They were very attentive. I watched them carefully. They listened. They obviously analyzed and came to a just decision.
Just so you know, it was right about 3 hours. I was shocked. I thought they would go home. But in a lot of courts, they want the jury to go home about 4 or 5 o'clock because they don't want overtime. They don't want to have all that stuff and to deal with. And this jury stayed until they got it done. I am happy for them.
We're grateful to the judge for his patience and his guidance, and everybody followed the law, etc. We're grateful to all of you guys here. I can't begin to tell you. I always, to me, journalists were never, they're into just post stuff in the papers, TV, or whatever. But you guys have really, really, it's been 11 years. You've supported us. And because of you, this case never went cold. And I can't believe people stop me when I'm in Dillard's or I'm in the wine store or in a restaurant. My claim to fame, unfortunately, is Dan's dad. But it's so heartwarming to see this community, the people, and because of you around the world, there aren't enough words to tell you how grateful we all are. This is, even though it's a joyful or unhappy decision that's come out, it's still very, very difficult. And we still don't have the full access to the boys that we'd love to have. They're very, very controlled, very short, and very far and few between. And it's, we just want anybody and everybody who had anything to do with Dan's death brought to justice. And until that day happens.
Okay, I have a deaf person that just hopped in, so I'm going to go into interpreting mode, but we're going to still watch.
I will not be fully happy individual.
And Phil, one of the, I think it's safe to say, one of the star witnesses in this trial was Rob Adelson. What was it like for you to watch him up there testifying for the government?
Rob Adelson and I have, we actually haven't seen each other for a long time, but we do communicate via text, telephone, etc. He is an incredible individual. How this guy happened to come out of this family is beyond my understanding.
I think we respect his bravery and his courage in doing what he did, and we really, will be very honored to see him and connect with him, but in particular, we really respect his courage.
Phil or Shelley, to answer this, did this one feel good? You have the hitman.
And again, right now you are looking at kind of a press gaggle with the Markel family. Phil, Dan's sister Shelley, his mom Ruth Markel, talking again about how grateful they are that justice has been served today.
More of a tone of gratitude in that media gaggle than the victim impact statements we heard moments ago inside the courtroom. They've made many trips to Tallahassee over the years because of these cases, and so they were expressing their support to the Tallahassee community and to anyone who stopped them, shopping or what have you, to express their support. We are waiting still for the prosecution to maybe speak as well. That is usually something they would do after this. And then you could hear the Markel family be asked, do you believe everyone has been brought to justice? They kind of skirted around that question a bit. The family has never been one traditionally in the media to point the finger. They've definitely let prosecutors do that. Last time when Charlie Adelson was convicted in 2023, that question was asked of Georgia Kappelman, and she said, stay tuned. It was but a week later that Donna was arrested.
And again, Phil Markel saying to that question, we want anyone and everyone involved in Dan's death brought to justice. And again, also Phil stating that they would like to see their grandchildren a little more. They're saying that they still don't have as much access as they would like. Again, you're taking a look at your screen right now. These are the 5 co-conspirators who have now all been found guilty in the murder of Dan Markel.
Yes, the 2 on the top left, the hitman in this case, Sigfredo Garcia, the convicted triggerman. The go-between was Catherine Magbanua. You can see her there. She dated Charlie Adelson for a time, and it was a theory the state laid out years ago, and jury has accepted that theory in each of these cases, finding each one of those folks convicted. This is a video of Magbanua testifying in this trial earlier last month, just a couple of weeks ago, last week rather, and her testimony key in Charlie's trial and key in this trial because it changed significantly.
Well, and I think too, some people may be going, why are you staying, with this coverage, that sort of thing. This has been 11 years. This murder happened. I had not been here not quite a month yet when this murder happened. And just to see it continue to go and to continue to unravel and to continue to learn more. Because the thing is, when this happened, you had a man who was shot in his driveway in Benton Hills in Tallahassee. That does not happen. It sent this town into a panic because no one was this random? Was this not? At the time, we didn't know. And so it was a very scary time at that very beginning, and then to see it all unfold throughout these years has just been a wild experience.
I had to comb through our archives last year for the 10 years since the murder to watch how we had covered it. And
Okay, I'm going to take a pause. I need to catch up with all the comments. It has been a crazy journey. I'm sorry, mods, while I'm interpreting, I really need you to help me with the comments. Thank you. You're doing a wonderful job. Yep. I want to thank you for all of our new people. Brad Cap, thank you so much for hopping in. Thank you, everybody, for coming in, and I appreciate that. It's hard for me to interpret. I have a deaf person watching. Hello, thank you for joining. I'm deaf without my special ears. So I'm back to interpreting. Thank you, mods.
it was remarkable to see how the case did go cold for a while. There was not an update publicly until 2016. We didn't, of course, we know every nook and cranny of the investigation because it's been laid out in front of a jury so many times. But in living in the moment back then, you didn't know, and this seemed like a mystery that may not be solved.
Absolutely, and of course, the COVID pandemic pushing a lot of these trials back, extending that life of the trial and sort of things like that. Donna's trial even was supposed to be a year ago, but it stopped right before it started.
There was a conflict of interest with her prior counsel, who was also the one that had represented Charlie. So we are now getting another video feed here live from another gaggle. This is State Attorney Jack Campbell shaking hands and hugging with the Markell family. He does appear to be walking with the family.
You're good.
Of course, hugs all around for that group at this point. We are still hoping that potentially Prosecutor Georgia Kappelman will speak. That's why we're hanging on our coverage here, because there's a chance we could learn some new information about the investigation's future. There's always the question if someone else could be charged in this case. No one else has been charged. Very important to say. Wendy Adelson has, of course, testified in all the trials prior with protection, immunity. And her testimony has been scrutinized and under the microscope each and every time.
Absolutely. And again, she did testify against her mother in this case. She was given an limited immunity deal by the state, was not given that deal for the defense. And again, that was a very emotional day of testimony because they have not talked in several years.
And under oath, she once again said she had no idea that this murder for hire was in the works. She had no information that could help investigators and was just in the dark and had no information pointing her mother or her brother or anyone else to the murder of her ex-husband.
And again, if you're just joining us, just tuning in, the verdict for Donna Adelson in the murder of Dan Markell, that was reached
around 7:35-ish, about almost an hour ago.
And that was after about 3 hours of deliberation by a jury. Donna Adelson was found guilty on all 3 charges, that of first-degree murder, conspiracy, and solicitation.
Just a dramatic moment in the courtroom. We do understand that prosecution is going to speak after they talk to family. Perhaps we have time to replay the verdict as it was read aloud. Do you think we have time for that? Talking to our folks in the back. Okay, let's go ahead and listen to what that moment was like.
At this time, I will publish the verdict. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 1 of the indictment, first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder. Mrs. Adelson, control yourself. Count 2. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 2 of the indictment, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. Count 3. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 3 of the indictment, solicitation to commit first-degree murder. The defendant is guilty of solicitation to commit first-degree murder. And it is signed and dated by the foreperson. One moment. Members of the jury, the bailiff will escort you to the jury room.
And again, that was the verdict that was read a little after 7:30 today. Again, convicting Donna Adelson of all 3 charges for the murder of Dan Markell. As you can see, very emotional, shocked, just exhaling just a sigh of just disbelief, to the point where Judge Everett actually asked the jury to step out of the courtroom for a minute to speak to Donna Adelson, and asked her really to get control of herself. And if she couldn't, he may have had to remove her for the rest of the proceedings.
Certainly a moment of which we haven't seen in this case before.
No.
There have been some emotional reactions to verdicts.
Yes.
Catherine McManawah started sobbing, as did her attorneys in 2022. Charlie Adelson simply put his head down in his lap for a moment or two after he learned his fate. But the 75-year-old South Florida grandmother learning that even if she had been convicted on just one of these 3 charges, it likely meant the rest of her life behind bars. But now that she's been convicted of first-degree murder, that carries a mandatory life sentence.
Well, in terms of sentencing, they're actually going to postpone
Correct.
one part of that, because they just want to make sure that her defense team wants to make sure that she is in the right state of mind and in a better place mentally as she can be for what has happened.
As soon as we learn that official sentencing date, we will pass it along for Charlie. If I remember correctly, it was about a month later.
It was, yes.
30 days or so. But that's essentially a formality. And the quote unquote meat of that would have been the victim impact statement in terms of public interest. And that's what we heard tonight from Ruth and Phil just moments after that verdict read aloud. And something we hadn't seen before in terms of in the format, and to see the 2 next to each other just feet away, Ruth Markell and Donna Adelson.
Well, and as you were saying, most of those impact statements had been done over Zoom because the Markells live in Canada. And Dan was originally from Canada, and so they were not here for that. And so to see, we have not seen those impact statements in person. And again, it really did feel like the weight of the decade worth of cases really coming out in this, speaking really mother to mother on this, former family to former family of, Ruth Markell saying, for our family, there is no prospect of escape. There is a hole in our lives.
2 families shattered, as you mentioned earlier, Abby. And of course, one wonders how that deliberation went for 3 hours. They had listened to hours and hours of closing arguments. The defense said there was no direct evidence tying Donna to this murder for hire scheme. And the question becomes which pieces of the evidence that they heard over 8 days perhaps was, as close to a smoking gun as you can get. The prosecutors even admitted today there was no smoking gun in this case because.
Okay, my deaf client is going to work. She goes to work at midnight. So she hopped on for a few minutes. Thank you everyone for your patience and understanding. I always try to interpret when a deaf person pops in. I want to provide full access to all my deaf friends. So I'm going to take a little breather here. This job did amazing job. Amazing job. I really like this judge. Thank you so much. We've got a lot of new viewers in here. Thank you. So hi, Maggie Stroud. Thank you so much for joining. I am also for the first time wearing contacts. They're a trial pair. I got a little blurriness we're working with, but let me get this back up here. So forgive me for squinting. I've only had them on a few hours, so I can't grab everybody's comments right now. I apologize. Oh, well, you're welcome. I do have a partner that interprets. She's been interpreting for over almost 40 years now, but she's asleep right now. I wasn't going to wake her up. It is now 11:50 my time in Central Texas. I want to try to get to, that's old.
In this 11-year saga, one that happened out of the blue to the public.
Yes.
We didn't know this was coming a week after her.
Oh, we do want to we have Georgia Kappelman, Assistant State Attorney. Let's listen in now.
I think I just feel kind of honored to be able to deliver this win for the Markells. Now, we've heard so much about a win for the Adelsons, and everything that was lost in those efforts. So it's just been really cool to be a part of this win.
During one of the pre-trials, you said these trials that have become my life. It's a lot of trials at this point.
That is their audio. I can't do anything about it. My apologies.
Talk about what happens when you're a prosecutor and you have to continue to follow cases like this one.
Well, I mean, I do have other cases. People don't know that. There are other cases. And I hear about, all of them, but obviously this has become sort of part of my DNA after investing so much blood, sweat, and tears into this case and getting justice.
Little Miss Red Violet OG, join our Discord. Maud, can you put up the Discord? Join our Discord. Private message me if this is your expertise. I'd love to talk to you.
So yeah, it's been an epic battle.
Was this one tougher than Charlie's trial?
I don't know. I mean, I'm older, so I think it is. I think everyone is tougher than the last. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, more time passes and there's more stuff. There's more phones. There's more records. There's more emails. So it's a lot to organize, and it's a lot of little pieces to try to put together and try to create something cognizable that a jury can follow and get their head around.
In Georgia, opening statements right out of the gate, Jackie Fulford appropriated Professor Markell's nickname, calling him Danny. A lot of people were upset about that. Did that bother you?
Not as much as it bothered some other folks. I understood what she was trying to do. It was not the classiest move, and I think she kind of realized that and seemed to correct that over the course of the trial. But yeah, probably not a great move.
And what about the amount of deliberations? Is roughly the same as Charlie, maybe a few minutes more, but not much. That surprised you because some people were predicting a longer deliberation.
A little bit. I actually lost. I thought it would be slightly shorter, but I was being pretty ambitious. But yeah, it wouldn't have surprised me if it had been more difficult for them because it was a large puzzle that kind of had to be put together. But I guess they got what they needed and they knew what they had to do.
Were you surprised? Prosecution?
You are asking me.
Oh,
yeah.
Why are you that guy?
Were you surprised by the defense strategy of throwing Wendy and Charlie under the bus? And was the adoptive admissions ruling something that you pre-planned or something that you all came up with at the last moment?
We had a few incarnations of how to deal with the fact that she had adopted Charlie's really ridiculous story previously. We didn't want her to be able to distance herself from that and create a new, better defense, which she did seem to kind of try to be doing. So we did want to try to shove that on her and then, try to explain that to the jury. Okay, here's this whole other defense that she already adopted, and it's complicated, and it has all its pushback that goes with it. So it did feel like a difficult minefield to wade through to be able to explain all that to the jury, but we wanted to make sure they understood that, hey, she's already committed to this defense that's a loser, and now she's trying to switch it up and go to this whole other place, and you got to pick a lane and can't be both. So I think that's kind of what we were trying to do, so hopefully we were successful.
It sounded like the new investigation developed a lot of crazy evidence, including y'all were planning to use some phone calls that you were not able to use at the trial. Is the sealing of this evidence going to be unsealed once now that Donna has been convicted, or do you know?
I don't know the answer to that. Yeah, I don't know.
And you cannot still comment, I guess, about
I think
the
not,
details.
since it's sealed, right? Yeah,
All right,
it's,
no
it's less
comment
sexy
about-
than you imagine it to be, but I don't think I should comment on it since
Okay.
it's sealed by the court.
How did you feel when you found out that Donna was not going to be testifying? Something tells me you were probably salivating at the idea.
I don't know about
of testifying for over the last 11
salivating.
years.
I it's not like I was saying, wow, you guys, it's some amazing new stuff or anything, but I did put tons of preparation into that, so I was a little bit like,
all that hard work for nothing.
sad when I took my binder that had 110 tabs and packed it away. So yeah, I was a little surprised. She seems like somebody that would want to tell her story, but it's trickier and trickier when all these stories are out there, and she would have had to navigate a lot of stuff to get up there. So I do understand why she made the decision she did, and I think it was a smart one, but I was kind of expecting her to testify.
What was the new evidence that you thought in this trial might have made a difference that what you came across that you introduced?
I think the fleeing to Vietnam didn't hurt, especially since she denied it. She could have just said, yeah, I went to Vietnam. You know, I mean, yeah, I didn't want to get arrested. But she didn't do that. She oversold, so that was helpful.
The number and the planners. Like,
Yes.
Can you talk about that? Like, how did you guys find that? Was it like an aha moment?
Yeah, kind of dumb luck. I mean, that thing is so dense, and there's a bunch of them. So we've just been sort of perusing them, and yeah, somebody just stumbled upon it and had an aha moment.
And how Rob Adelson's testimony, how key was that?
I think it was important, didn't you? I mean, I thought he was so genuine, and what a guy to be able to do that. You know, I mean, what a terrible situation for him to be put in, and to be able to rise above that and do the right thing. It's really impressive.
Did you all wait for this trial to put him on? Why did he not testify previously?
I just didn't want to do it to him unless I felt like it was absolutely necessary, and I really felt like we needed him in this one.
Georgia, does Wendy have reason to be worried tonight?
You said that word. That's a bad word.
A bad word.
Worried is a bad word.
Well, that's not.
Should we say stay tuned? Do we need to stay tuned?
I mean, you can stay tuned.
One other question for me. I mean, your father played football. I understand. It was my first Knowles game, and I take all the credit.
Oh,
for
great
winning.
one!
Yeah.
Lucky you.
I take all the credit for that. And I found out maybe through the grapevine that someone else in your family.
All right, that is Prosecutor Georgia Kappelman answering some questions from the media.
Came out to cheers.
To cheers. Unclear who was cheering.
Yes, it was. Yes, we did. We could not see.
But clearly, just a fascinating dynamic there. It's, you know, I was in those gaggles in 2022 when we interviewed her. Kind of a different demeanor each time.
Yes, absolutely.
She said each case felt more difficult than the last, noting that she does get, you know, everyone gets older as the years progress. But for those that follow this case from start to finish, the inside baseball, so to speak, of how they put their case together, pretty fascinating.
I thought it was interesting, too, because she has been on this case from the very beginning. She said she does have all other cases, and she says she, you know, takes all of her cases seriously, but this one is part of her DNA. It's been an epic battle. Absolutely.
Pretty interesting to hear, you know, her thoughts on Donna not testifying, the idea of finding the planner that she referenced, a 2023 and a 2014 planner, the 2014 planner, including Dan Markel's license plate number. Key piece of evidence that the state pointed to was that Donna was helping the killers find Dan that day he died. Interesting to hear that was dumb luck in her words that they found it.
Well, also thought it was interesting, too, because many people have wondered, why hasn't the oldest brother, Rob, testified in any of these cases prior? For a lot of us, we didn't even know there was an older brother until Charlie's case. You can see video of him testifying right here. This was extremely powerful testimony here coming against Rob, the oldest Adelson's child, testifying against his mother in this case. And she said that she didn't want to have to take him on the witness stand, put him on the witness stand, unless it was absolutely necessary to do. And she felt like in this case, it was absolutely necessary. During his testimony, he relented the fact that nobody in his family really seemed that interested in wanting to know who killed his brother-in-law.
Right. It was testimony, as you said, we had never heard before. Was there a complete lack of curiosity, he was asked by Kappelman, and he said, yeah, nobody seemed curious. So that was an early moment on where this trial differentiated from some of the others, and something that, as we know now, Kappelman thought was important to include in the record. And then at the end, the question, does Wendy need to be worried? And she deflected from that question. It's, again, every time she's had a post-trial scrum, she's been asked what's next. And most of the time it's been a non-answer.
It really has. It's been very guarded. And so the real answer is we don't know.
We don't know. This could be the last time we ever, you know, have to talk about a breaking news verdict in this case. Or we could, you never know. Of course, Wendy Adelson denying on the record multiple times her involvement. She's never been charged in this case. Very important to remember that. We do hope to get to our Matt Hoffman at some point. He, of course, has been in the courtroom every day, and we will get to him hopefully shortly. But we do want to play a quick piece of audio here from Dan's father, Phil Markel, who was one of two, his wife, Ruth Markel, the other, that gave victim impact statements just moments after the verdict was read aloud. Listen to a little bit of what he had to say earlier.
Good evening. My name is Phil Markel. I'm Danny's father. Judge Everett, I appreciate the opportunity to speak about the impact of Donna Adelson's actions on my families and the families of so many others. While this victim impact statement is addressed to you, Your Honor, it is also intended for the Adelson family, Harvey, Charlie, Wendy, and particularly Donna. I would like them to understand and reflect on the deep and irreparable damage they have caused. The pain that they have caused my family is obvious and permanent, but they have also caused lifelong harm to their own immediate family and so many other families and children around. Donna's selfishness, cruelty, and complete disrespect for human life, along with that of her co-conspirators, have left families forever broken. Louis Rivera, his children have no father. Catherine Magbanawa and Sigfredo Garcia, their children have no parents. Charlie Adelson, his son, Roman, has no father. Rob Adelson and his wife and their two children have lost their uncle and grandparents. Shelley and Ian, my daughter, their three children, my grandchildren, are left without an uncle and are separated from their cousins. Of course, their heinous and callous actions have left me.
Okay, again, what you are just watching now is part of Phil Markel's impact statement. That's Dan Markel's father. He went after his wife, Ruth Markel. And I think going to the sentiment of both the Markels, saying so many lives have been shattered through this murder, and which they called senseless, cold-blooded. And at the very end, Phil Markel said, I would like to have a question to Donna. And his very last statement was it worth it?
Right. Stunning moment there. We've been on the air for about an hour. That was when the verdict was read aloud. We do want to end our breaking news coverage here by going to Matt Hoffman, our reporter who's been inside the courtroom for every twist and turn of this 12-day trial. Matt, wrap us up here with just your final thoughts. What was the moment like in the courtroom in that moment? And what other things have you learned tonight that you want to share with us?
Yeah, sure, Jacob. It's a pretty surreal feeling. This trial lasts for 12 days, multiple days of jury selection, multiple days of witness testimony on both the prosecution and the defense. And then it really comes down to just over 3 hours of deliberations. It actually didn't take the jury much longer than it did in Donna Adelson's son's case. And you saw live on our air how quickly it came to an end. The judge called for the verdict to be read. Jurors came into the room. There was a brief outburst from the defendant, Donna Adelson. Jurors were then brought out and back in, and the verdict was read. In fact, you probably caught that the judge was prepared to go to sentencing tonight, given that this was a first-degree murder case. That date is set now for a later time. We'll, of course, continue full coverage online, on air as we move forward. For now, inside the Leon County Courthouse, I'm Matt Hoffman, WCTV Eyewitness News.
Thank you so much, Matt. And if you have missed any of this trial, you can go back.
Okay, so I want to talk to you guys a little bit. I'm going to turn up my volume a little bit. I think, maybe not. I don't know. It's so weird not being able to hear myself. But okay, I'm going to try and switch my ears now that the videos are over. The video tends to, with some of the noise, my hearing aids, I struggle with trying to pull sound because of all the noise and everything. Okay, would help if I take that out. These are in-the-ear monitors, very similar to what the musicians wear. They're just slightly modified for this deaf girl. Oh, thank you, Angela. So anyway, let me put that up, turn the sound off so you guys can hear. Okay, now I'm going to talk to you guys because I got some information for y'all. I have some information. Okay. So we're going to talk. I got some talking points. Number one, we'll talk about Donna in a minute. I want to talk about Harvey and the family. I have been the spouse of somebody who's been convicted of a crime and sent to prison. I know what it's like to be sitting in his shoes to a point. Nobody knows exactly because everybody's different. Every situation is different. But I do know what's going to happen, what he's going to have to do. I mentioned something about a divorce and somebody said, oh, no, I think he'll stay married. No, he's going to have to divorce her because what's going to happen is there is going to be a lawsuit from the Dan Markel family against all the ones who've been convicted, and he could be named in it as well because he was married to Donna Adelson at the time the crime had happened. But there's going to be a lot of financial fallout from this. And as long as he's married to her financially, it's going to hit him in the pocketbook really hard. And if they are divorced or separated, getting a divorce and all that, then she can be declared an indigent. And a lot of those financial things won't be hitting him. People don't understand that. Yes, the civil trial has not happened yet, but it will. The Adel Institute is up for grabs. He is still the owner of the Adel Institute. He is no longer practicing, but he has hired. I'm not used to not having my glasses on, and I'm wearing contacts for the first time today. But anyway, so sorry for the blinking. So he is still the owner of it, but he's not a practicing dentist. So he is hired orthodontist, dentists, or surgeons, and whatever else. So that's what's going on with him. This is going to affect him greatly. But more so, I don't know. Either people think he's not. People think he knew about it, and other people think he didn't know about it. So that's up in the air. But it is. Donna was a financial controller, though. Yes, she controlled their money. However, her defense team, I'm sure, was not cheap. But he just bought a 1.7, I think, 1.7 million condo. Go back to my live earlier today. You can see the tour of the condo, not his possessions, but one just like the one he bought. Absolutely. I was thinking that Donna would file for divorce so she could get half. That ain't going to happen. At least Donna could get his endless honey buns. No, what's going to happen here? And here's the thing. Even though she can get half, any money that she gets will go to the victims, to the court fees, to a lot of stuff. So what would be wiser for Donna and her husband to do is do a divorce. She gets nothing. And if he wants to, he can put her half in a trust for the grandkids. That can happen. It's not always guaranteed that it's 50-50. Is Florida a 50-50 state in a divorce? Let me see. Not every state has the 50-50. No, Florida does not guarantee the 50-50 divorce split. Instead, it follows a principle of equitable distribution, which aims for fair but not necessarily equal. So that really depends. If he's the one that Florida is not a guaranteed 50-50 state, not guaranteed. At least that's what the law says. And by the way, thank you, June, for setting up some of those law things. You were so absolutely amazing. No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to grab that. Now let's go into Wendy real quick. Wendy has to be next. However, I think she might be more difficult to indict as she has that partial immunity. Yes, she is. Yes and no. Let's talk about the partial immunity. By the way, I'm not a lawyer, but I am a criminal justice major, and I am going to be hopefully getting a PhD eventually in criminal justice. Now, the thing about Wendy is this for me. Wendy, nothing she said, as long as she was telling the truth, can be used against her. As long as she was telling the truth. So, oh, Deborah, you're right. She's Donna's going to have a public defender for her appellate issues. She will. So when it comes to Wendy, well, thank you, clever username. When it comes to Wendy, the immunity only pertains to her honesty and what she said cannot be used against her. Now, if there's evidence that's presented in this trial that the state thinks that they can use against her to get a conviction and get her behind bars, they can use that and they will go after her for that. But they're going to take their time in that. They're going to look into it. I think it's about a 30% chance, maybe 40 at best, that they will go after her. Like the gentleman said in the newscast, it has been 11 years. They could have gone after her. But I think that what they've done is they have their list of people to go after and the players to go after. And in that list of people, excuse me, in that list of people, she was not at the top of the list. They're working in their pecking order. If they find that she did lie and perjure her stuff on the stand, in any of the trials, either all or part of that immunity can be revoked. But it also depends on, was it a lie or was it just remembering things differently because it's been 11 years? And they have to be able to prove that she was willfully lying. And that's hard to prove. Willfully lying is very, very hard to prove. When you add up all the information that has been revealed about Wendy's involvement throughout all 5 of these trials, Wendy was definitely, yeah, she could. Some people, Florida State Statute 91401 protects Wendy's immunity. It does and it does not. If they can create a case based off of information that is not coming from that girl's mouth, then they can go after her. The immunity is partial. It only pertains to what she says cannot be used against her. What she says cannot be used against her. Oh, hold on. Let me see this. So that's important. My contacts are not 100% there, but it's getting there. Florida Statute 914.01 addresses a witness in a criminal proceeding stating that a person cannot refuse to testify. Let me get it in front of me. Cannot refuse to testify or produce evidence in court with felony trial jurisdiction, grand jury, or before the state attorney if it might incriminate them. Instead of being excused, the testimony or the evidence given is granted used and derivative used immunity, meaning it cannot be used against a person in a criminal case except for perjury committed while giving the testimony or producing the evidence. The use of immunity is a specific testimony or evidence you provide cannot be directly used against you in any criminal investigation or proceeding. Derivative used immunity is evidence or lead derivative from your compelled testimony cannot be used against you. So basically, it's what she says in all 5 of these trials. I think she's testified 5 times. Cannot be used against her. Yeah. I think that they're going in a pecking order. Oh, she did. She did roll her eyes. So, Wendy, if they can get enough evidence based out of all 5 trials, and they can get the witnesses on the stand and they can build a case off of that evidence that they have either gotten from other people's testimonies, all the emails or anything, as long as she didn't verbalize it, they can't use it against her. But here's the clincher. She's reading the email text. Yes. Remember when she was reading some of those emails and texts? They can't use that against her because she read it. That was a part of her testimony. So, what I just read, it protects her testimony, what she says. But we're not talking about, if you take her testimony and totally remove it from the boat, the testimony and evidence that everybody else gave, if they have enough evidence that they can find, circumstantial or not, which it would be highly, I'm just saying, I think she's got a 30-40% chance of going to be arrested. And then I want to talk about the father, Harvey. I don't think he's going to be arrested. I think I saw somewhere a text or emails or something going back and forth where they admitted that don't tell dad, he doesn't know anything. I don't think they're going to go after him. I think out of the two, if they continue this, they would go after Wendy first. I don't know if they have enough either. I don't know if they have enough either. Let's talk about the kids. Yes, Deborah Owens, it is his kids, and I'm sad for the children. And here's the thing. The children are and will remain in the custody of Wendy unless they can prove that they are unsafe, the environment's not safe, they're not well taken care of or whatever. And right now, this has been 11 years. They're teenagers. So I don't see anything happening with them. But what I do remiss is what does bother me is the fact that the grandparents are really struggling to see those kids. I'm here to learn. I'm Canadian and I'm interesting. I am not a lawyer. I am not speaking from law. I'm speaking from my own experience. I am speaking because I did have a husband that was arrested, convicted, and spent time in prison. He was a white collar, or was it blue collar, white collar? He was a physician. They are teens. And so they're going through all that. Yeah. Now, the problem with this is, and of course, my children were young when they went through it, and now they're in their 20s. Sometimes they go through, kids are resilient, people say, and all this stuff, but sometimes the kids, they go through it. But when they get in their 20s, it hits them like a ton of bricks, depression, anxiety. These kids are going to suffer for life. I got something bothering me here. Oh, there it is. They will be affected for life. It's bad having one parent that goes to jail, but you have a parent, an uncle, and all these people tied to your family, white collar, thank you. And then, Sean Carter, thank you. Absolutely rubbish words. The state will eventually convict every single member of the Adelson family. They have no chance of any sort of justice in Tallahassee. Well, thank you so much for hopping on, and I appreciate your point of view. And one thing about this channel, everybody is safe to say their point of view as long as you're respectful. And I appreciate that. Yep, they will go through crisis and they will struggle. They lost their father, their uncle, their grandmother. They've lost so much. And it is horrible, 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 horrible. Thank you so much to all the new people. Thank you for communicating and commenting. Ada K, agree 100%. The kids are now teenagers. Yeah, 3 years until 18, so they can reach yes. And actually, I think when they hit the age of 16 or 17, depending on the state and where they're living, they can have a whole lot more input in their lives. I agree the trial should have been elsewhere. The Adelsons were railroaded. It's very much possibly. I'm not totally against that. I was just shocked that Donna's arrogance in the whole trial, her scoffs and rolling. I struggled with some of that. I did. I struggled with some of the behaviors of the trial. All right, let me look at my notes. I want to talk to you real quick. Somebody asked me, what is the PSI? I want to share with you what a PSI is. Not everybody fully understands the PSI. So we're going to quickly talk about the PSI. The PSI is pre-sentence investigation or pre-sentence investigation report. Is detailed background check, social history compiled by the probation department for the courts before sentencing a defendant in a criminal case. It includes information like criminal history, employment, family dynamics, health, as well as summaries of the offense, the victim's impact statements. The PSI will help the judge make the informed and fair sentencing decision recommending resources in probation or parole. Well, that ain't going to happen. I have a friend who's a probation officer, and we talked about the PSIs, and I really hate that they have to do them because it's a lot of work, y'all. A whole lot of work. State of confusion. Thank you so very much. Well, thank you. Well, thank you so much. I've only been doing this a year. We have a 70%. Everyone take a moment and hit the thumbs up. Oh, yes. Thank you. We got to 99. I was hoping we get to 100, but we got to 99. So let's talk a little bit about the PSI and what it involved. The criminal history, of course, are records of past offenses, convictions, and sentencing, and all that lovely detail that they just absolutely, that is very vital in this to get that information. But of course, Grammy Gotti, as I called her, Grammy Gotti doesn't have to deal with that because Grammy Gotti doesn't have a record. So there you go. Personal background, details about the family, the education, her work history, her social relationships, her health and substance abuse, information about the physical and mental health, and if any history of substance abuse. Probably wine is going to be alcohol is going to be, if anything, the depth of that. And then we have the circumstances of the event, what happened, the summary of the crime, including the details of the incident. Now, don't go anywhere, y'all, because I'm going to do a deep dive here in a minute about what Donna is going to face in the next few days. I have some personal knowledge of this with my ex-husband, and then I have some educational knowledge. As like I said, I'm getting a degree in criminal justice. So evaluate the evaluation summary. Why is a PSI important? Well, number one, it helps the judge in the sentencing provides him with a comprehensive information to determine the appropriate sentence. It also helps the court understand the individual's character, needs, likelihood of reoffending, and it also helps them in some cases if they too are lifelong victims of abuse. It kind of gives the court a kind of like a little picture or snapshot of the life of the person who's been convicted and what roles of the people in their lives could have played in forming them into being the people they are and committing the crimes that they have. Especially important with juveniles. The court may suggest resources if they get probation parole. She won't. She's got life. There's not going to be anything less for her. Probation officer typically does the PSI through interviews, documents, and reviews medical records, psychological records, home visits, the victim's family, the perpetrator's family, the defendant is interviewed and ask a lot of information about their personal history and circumstances if they cooperate. So that is what the PSI is. A lot of people don't know what the PSI is. So now I'm going to go over here. Let me get this aimed up again. And I would like to discuss with you guys, these are my notes, about what is going to happen to Miss Donna Adelson. What is going to be her first few days? So when someone like Donna is found guilty in a serious case, the first few days are a whirlwind after the verdict, very structured, closely monitored, and it is Oh, so humiliating, overwhelming, confusing, depressing. It's miserable. Once again, I'm talking both from educational and personal information and knowledge. Now, depending on where they are, each state, each county does things a little differently, but this is the basis. They're going to be remanded into custody, which you saw. They were taken directly from court. She wanted to hug her husband and say goodbye. That was not permitted. She will be taken from the courtroom directly back to the county jail or detention facility where she has been held during pretrial. Now, the booking process is kind of interesting. The correctional staff will update her custody status from a defendant to convicted or awaiting trial to convicted. And when that happens, reality is harsh. Why is that? A lot of times there's a shift in the way that the officers will treat the person. Remember the innocent until proven guilty. Well, that is true. However, once you're convicted, that changes. You are treated as a criminal. And they don't treat you as kindly, especially, she's an old woman. Give me a second, guys. Ugh. I hate it when your pants slide up and it gets uncomfortable. I have been live over 11 hours earlier today. We're going on 2 hours, 12, 13 hours live today. So I'm getting a little uncomfortable. So when she gets there, the staff will update her records. Of course, they're going to do a physiological screening because of her age and the seriousness of the charge and the emotional weight of this guilty verdict. She is definitely flagged for self-harm risk. And the self-harm risk has a lot of protocols, and I do have the jail protocols for Florida. I did find that. I noticed I have an echo. I don't know why I'm echoing. I'm going to do a sound reset. Give me a minute. Donna has talked about self-harming herself before. I got it. If you guys can let me know, please, if the echo is gone, I appreciate it. I caught it. So because she has expressed the desire to self-harm before, now they're going to put her in a special housing situation. She'll be moved into an observation cell, often called the S watch or the self-harm watch or the special management unit. Now, this is a very unpleasant experience. They will strip her down to her birthday suit. They will give her what I call the moving blanket, those moving blankets that are kind of like quilted. Looks like they just folded one over and sewed it up the sides enough for her arms to come out and cut a hole for her head. But they are very uncomfortable, horrible, padded gowns. She will not have a hair tie. She will have nothing. And she will be in that unit. She will be constantly monitored for 24/7, eyes on. I mean, she will pee, poop, eat, sleep, everything with someone watching her. And every 15 minutes. They normally have closed circuit cameras. They don't know. They used to have people sitting right outside the doors. But every 15 minutes, they have to walk by and lay eyes on her, depending on her assessed risk. No more tank tops and Spanx for you, baby. Yes, he was genuinely concerned about her. I really think he was, but also he wanted to get her sentenced and out of his hair. Clothing and bedding restrictions. She will most likely be issued the self-harm prevention smock, like I said, that horrible garment, and given only a special bedding and no personal items that be used to self-harm. She will also be given during the day. Sometimes they take away the blankets and everything. They can only have them when they are sleeping at night. And the turtle suit, that's right, the turtle suit. The psychologist or mental health civilian physician will be coming in and interviewing her shortly after she's placed. Tonight, she got there later in the day, so they won't do that until tomorrow. And they will continue to check her daily until they deem her no longer at risk. She will not have any phone calls, visits, commissary, or anything until she is stable and out of that unit. So once she gets out, she will be isolated in the jail self-harm watch. They're usually, the room is very bare. It's just the walls and the floor. And sometimes when it's time to lay down, they'll put a little mat on the floor and a blanket, very bright. And they don't even, a lot of times they don't turn the light completely off. So if you're a light sleeper or you can't sleep and you have to have it dark to sleep, that ain't happening, boo. And not only that, you're in an area where they have other inmates who are mentally stable. And so that's really loud. A lot of times, a lot of chaos, a lot of screaming. It is very, very, very nasty. They usually only have concrete or metal bed and a security camera. The officers may take notes on her behavior, mood, eating, sleeping habits. Anything that she says to herself will be recorded. Anything she does. What was his name that was kept in the cell for like almost a year in isolation? He went crazy and took his poo and smeared it everywhere. Oh gosh, what was his name? I'm struggling to remember. But anyway, yeah, don't feel sorry for her too long. She did it. Yeah. Oh my God. And then one time she said this is not justice. The officers, like again, will be documenting they'll even document her stool. They will document her pee. They will document everything, how much water she takes in. They will document what she does in the cell, whether she sleeps all the time or gets up, moves around. And then, of course, like I said, the doctors and everybody will come in. Richard Allen. The doctors will come in. She is on medication. She does, I think, have high blood pressure and some other kind of stuff. So she's already in the jail. So she's been there. She's already getting that meds, but they'll be adding more antidepressants and I'm sure she's already on those as it is. And then the medical staff are the ones who will make the decision on whether they can transfer her over to a standard cell and then work her into general population. Now, the adjustment period really, it really depends on the person. The shock of sentencing combined with the confinement under the strictest conditions right now can play a game with her psychologically and overwhelm her. And what may happen with her is that she may go crazier. It's not uncommon for them to, in this situation, become more depressed, more psychologically just run down. So that is not something that is unusual. Hold on. Thank you so much, guys. I need my liquid IV. I'm talking a lot and I'm already dehydrated today. So that's something else. They will watch and see if she's eating. Sometimes they go through a phase where they just don't eat. The depression and everything is so horrible that sometimes they refuse to eat. Oh, wow. I need water. Come on. I know I'm taking it from my coffee. Isn't that horrible? Sometimes they will refuse to eat. Sometimes they rebel. So we'll have to wait and see what Miss Little Donna Adelson does. But yeah. Yeah. Would help if I mixed it. It is highly likely, from what I understand, highly likely that her and Boone may cross paths. Better. Whew, I drank that powder in. I forgot to mix it. It's going to be some time before she gets into general population. But then after a few days, longer, depends on her stability. If she is no longer considered a self-harm risk, then they will put her in a step-down unit from the self-harm watch. Eventually, she will be transferred from the county jail to the Florida State of Correction prison intake system, where she will undergo her classification, just like Sarah Boone did. Probably the same unit, the same place, which Sarah Boone is still. That's my understanding. I'm not 100% sure. And once she goes through the classification process and everything, she'll be put in permanent placement. And Bowman, how are you doing? How are you? Yeah, new incomes, please. Yes, please join the Discord. That's where you can find a whole lot of stuff. We have some fun over in our Discord. We really do. So after she's been there probably a week or two is when they'll probably start stepping her down in the actual prison. They will send her to the permanent placement. After all of this goes, it could take two weeks to a month to get to a permanent placement. It really depends how long it takes for her to get out of the self-harm unit. In short, Donna will likely spend her first days, of course, like we talked about, after the verdict, under the strictest of self-harm watch, in isolation, highly monitored, the medical staff evaluating her. She's not going to get much sleep. Hold on a minute. Well, wait a minute. My computer's acting up. So, can a mod post Mr. Boone's question to Ada? I'm curious now. Hello, Mr. Bowman. What question did I miss? Yes, mod, can y'all repost that for me? Just copy and paste it. I don't know. I'm not seeing it. So y'all pop it up there for me. Please, and I will answer the question. Or Bowman, did I lip read what Donna? Yes, I did say yes. And one of them was, oh my God. And the other one looked like to me, she said, this isn't justice. So timing, transfer usually happens within a few weeks of sentencing. And this is from the county jail to the FDOC. They will transport her. Oh, the transports suck. We watched a video of her son getting transported. Do you know what? She is going to be surprised because believe it or not, they hold out for hope that they're going to get away with it. My ex was totally surprised. He, in fact, was so surprised he didn't even plan to. He didn't want to even make arrangements if something went wrong. He was so adamant that he was innocent and he was coming home. He didn't plan enough, and it was brutal on me. The transport timing transfer usually happens in the first few weeks, like I said. It also takes time for the paperwork, the logistics, and all of that kind of stuff. I know I'm kind of getting comfortable here. She will be moved by a secured prison transport, van, or bus. Some people call it the chain gang transport, shackled at the wrist or the waist or the ankles. Because she's such a high-profile case, she will probably be transferred in a bus with no windows or a van with no windows, and probably by herself, most likely. Doesn't mean it will be for sure, but most likely. I did see that, June. Thank you so much. I think I answered it. Any property that she has at the jail, letters, commissary, etc., may be mailed home or destroyed. Inmates usually cannot bring those items with them into the prison. Usually when they walk into, now her eyeglasses, any kind of assistive device if she had hearing aids. Those are the only things that can go with her to the prison. So yeah, she's got to start from ground zero. Ground zero. Okay. Most inmates first go into the RMC in Lake Butler, Florida, which is the Central Intake Medical Processing Center for Women and Men. I think if I understood it right with Boone, all women go there. Men, they have multiple facilities for the men. Now, the medical exam. Now we're going to get into some fun stuff. We're going to start talking about the exams and some of the things that she will physically have to go through. Now, mind you, she will go through all those exams as it is in the jail to a point, but when they get into the prison system itself, it's a lot deeper and not as much fun. Medical exam is going to be a full physical, TB testing, HIV test, dental exam, eye exam, female exam, rectal exam, bend over and cough, lift the whole 9 yards. They will have a full medical evaluation. Even though she's had one for the PSI, they will do a deeper dive, including a risk asset assignment and also depression. And they will probably put her back into the self-harm unit for it, sometimes just a few hours, all the way up to a few days or weeks. And so I'm sure the attorneys prepared her because the jury came back so quickly. Yes, they are. I mean, it is definitely a yes. She knew. They told her, "Boo, Boo, 90% chance you're going to jail. You're going to prison." When they come back real quick, they know. She knew. She knew. Yeah, I think combination tantrum and shock. Yeah, exactly. Then the staff will also review her crimes, her age, education, prior history, similar to the PSI. And then they'll give her an orientation, which is where the FDOC, the rules, the schedule, what's expected of them, and how their life is going to be while they're there. Security levels and classification at her age in the 70s is a nonviolent institutional behavior. She has no fights in jail. She's been good in jail. She's not gotten in trouble in jail. She's been obedient or not. They will look at all of her notes, her daily behavioral notes from jail, which I wish I had, all of her communications in jail, and all of that. They will look at her needs medically, and they will likely be classified. She will likely, in my humblest opinion, be a medium to medium or minimum custody risk. And because of the high profile nature of this case, she may be added extra restrictions. Special housing, if she's deemed to be continued on the self-harm risk, she will remain in the mental health until she is stabilized. Now, again, because of her age, they may put her in what I call the granny unit. They may put her in the granny unit. Oh, the granny unit. Yeah. And those are not fun either. A lot of the more mature women actually like being around the younger people because they don't like being around people their age with all the ailments and everything. They will then, the first few days in prison, of course, the initial housing is going to be probably a dormitory style or cell block with older women. They will not, most likely will not put her in, I can't say for sure, into a prison block with a bunch of very young people, because if they do, she will either be taken advantage of or possibly beaten, possibly red-drummed. Not kidding. Laughing, but not kidding. They will get up super early for count. Sometimes some prisons breakfast, depending on what unit you're on, can start at 3, 4 in the morning. Yeah. Some of them get up at 3, 4 in the morning for breakfast if they eat. Work assignments eventually, if she's medically fit to do so. And she will get her scheduled meals, her meds. They will do med call. She will not have the freedom of movement. She will be limited on her commissary. And that really sucks because commissary is currency in prison. And by the way, I'm talking, someone asked, how do I know this? I have multiple formats I stream on at the same time. I know a lot of this stuff because of my ex-husband. He went to prison. He's out right now. The prior bad acts, C. Taylor, will be included in the PSI. Good question. Thank you so much. What about her prior bad acts of trying to coerce jailmates to lie on the stand for her bad granny? That's not going to hold a lot of weight in the jail system. They'll just know to watch for manipulation. But in reality, other than that, has she gotten any fights? Has she stolen anything? Has she been caught selling things? I mean, was she doing some of the crap that Sarah Boone did? No, she was not. So she will not have the freedom, like I said, to move around. They will be, the commissary really sucks when it's limited because, like I was saying earlier, and I lost train of thought. When you first get there, they give you a little toothbrush. They give you a little roll of toilet paper. They give you a little thing of deodorant, that kind of stuff. Lucky for her, she didn't have to worry about sanitary pads in her monthly curse, because if you go into prison on that, man, it's nasty. It's horrible. It's horrible. So she does not have to worry about that. But commissary is how you get things. A lot of times it's not supposed to happen, but if we watched any prison shows, that's the way it is. And so she will be eating that horrible prison food. Now, she has complained about the food. Number one, it wasn't kosher. Well, boo, you don't eat kosher food. You lied to the Merkels about having kosher food at your daughter's wedding, and you didn't have kosher food. Yeah. And then she will probably lose some weight in this process. That is not uncommon. I want to put this comment. Lawyers just took the paycheck. They put up a zero defense. They added the prosecution and aided the prosecution in convicting her. I thank you so much for that, Daniel. I appreciate that. I sort of kind of agree with you on that. I don't think that these attorneys should, I think they need to do a refund in a lot of ways. I don't think they did a very good job, but Donna hired them and there's nothing she can do. It was her choice. She should have vetted them a little bit more. Phone calls will be monitored and limited. And here's something else. They can't just pick up the phone and start calling. In order for them to start receiving and sending phone calls or using the tablet system or getting visitors, whether it's video or in person, they have to go through being vetted. If you're on the phone list and you're on a visitation list in any format, you will be vetted. And on top of that, she will not have that privilege for a while. And everything that she does will be highly monitored. She also may be evaluated, like I said, for the work programs, but they got to take into account her physical abilities. With her age, she's more likely to be placed in a low demanding job or in a medical unit. I'm not sure they're going to put her in a medical unit, but it will be a low demand job. It's not going to be anything with a lot of high physical demands. Maybe folding laundry, something like that. That's where she might end up. I'm going to look at some of your comments here. I'm trying to catch people, but it's hard. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so very, very much. Maybe able to go for ineffective counsel. You can see her doing that. I can see her doing that. I don't disagree with you at all on that. Would not surprise me at all if she went for that. I think that you guys, we are one person away from having 3,450 subscribers. So if you've not subscribed, please help my channel grow. We are very young in the world of YouTube. Been around a year, and I worked very hard. And I just want to say thank you so much for joining. Thank you guys so much. She'll be sentenced in October. Her attorneys wanted to make sure that she was healthy without issues for sentencing, just in case. Well, she's going to stay in the jail until she's sentenced. Thank you, real time. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you so very much. So she will stay in the county jail until sentencing is over. So let's look at realistically. So that's October 14th. That's a month and a week away. That's 5 weeks away roughly, and then probably another 2 to 4 weeks. So she could be there 5 to 9 weeks before she's transferred to her temporary or longer term. Yes, please don't forget to hit the like button. I greatly appreciate it, and please subscribe. If come for break, be right back. Yes, I understand all that. So one of the things that people don't realize about this whole system is that number one, it doesn't move like clockwork. It's a lot of hurry up and wait, like in the military. Now, one thing some people don't realize, she's already been in that system for some time now in the jail system. She's already used to the coughing and bending over, squatting, and the strip searches and all of that wonderful stuff, and airing her aging body for all to see. Because every time that she leaves the jail to go to the prison, to the courtroom for the trial, when she leaves and returns, as soon as she returns, they strip her down. She removes her jail clothing, her courtroom clothing, goes back into the jail garb, whatever that may be, and she goes through a full strip search. And so she's getting a strip search 1 to 2 times a day at this time. Now, once she gets into the permanent housing, it won't happen nearly as much. So for Donna, because of her age and the publicity of the case, the nature of her crime, the prison officials will be extremely cautious with her and where and whom they place her with. She may end up in a protective custody wing or medical unit instead of general population to reduce the risk for quite some time. She is much more susceptible than Boone to harm. Much more susceptible from harm from Boone than Boone was. Boone was able to defend herself a whole lot more. I don't think Donna Adelson would be able to really, really defend herself as well as Boone was. So in the housing, the dormitory style, like I said, bunk beds, 2-person cells, depending on the facility. She does have some minor health issues. So it wouldn't, like I said, in the elder medical dorm, I want to talk about that a little bit. That dorm is people with dementia. They may have wheelchairs, walkers. They may have other health issues. They may be partially bedridden. I know, real time. Don't mix flavors. I had a little bit of punch and I put peach with it. Oh, bitter. That was bitter. Wendy, hi, Beyond the Game 3. Wendy is, I say 40% chance they'll go after her. Like I was telling other people that with Wendy, they can't use anything she said against her, but they can use what other people said. They can use what other evidence that they have received or gotten from the investigation. So yeah, there's a chance that they could go after her. I just don't know when. Yep, that's it. On count 1 is 100%. She's gone. Yep, we all want to know that. But yeah, she's 100% gone for life. She will have very minimal, if in no privacy at all. Between the constant counts, the locked doors at night, and the cameras and watching, she's forever on public display. Donna was about controlling her up. Yeah, it was. Yes, I'm going there right now. I see it. Beyond the Game, he said, Don't show any emotions. She is guilty. She still has a right to heard about it. Heard about it? No, I'm not sure how. Can you rephrase your question, please, in the end game 3? Can you please? I would appreciate it if you can redo your question. I'm not sure. Oh, I get it. The judge said don't show any emotions. Yes. She's guilty. Still had the right to heard about it. No. The thing is that the emotions, she needed to control herself. She can show her emotions in the cell after she gets out of there. Part of it is because it's hard on the jury, and it's emotionally hard on the jury to do for it's hard on the jury to watch that. I think it would be taxing. Yes, I agree, and I forgot to tell people to do that. That's my bad. Please put a red question mark in front of your question so I can see them. I am severely dyslexic to the point that I don't take notes in college when I'm in in-person class. I am so bad. So I can read pretty well. It's very big print. That's how I can read well. Thank you so much, June. And thank you so much, Little Miss Red Velvet OG. So if you put a red questions in front of your questions, that way it catches my eye a whole lot better. But thank you, Linda Long. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm getting a lot of people I've not met before. Welcome to our show. Thank you so very much. Yes. So here's the daily schedule for the FDOC. I found it for the women's facility. Y'all want to know about it? I do. It's going to be fun. But let me get back to the granny ward. I call them the granny wards. The problem is if Donna's got a sharp mind and somewhat healthy body, but they put her in the granny ward, she's going to be with women that have committed heinous crimes themselves. I mean, they murdered, red drummed up people themselves. Donna just called in the shots. A little different in the way people see this. That said, she's going to be with women that have a lot of medical history and a lot of some of them mental and psychological problems, and it's not going to be a fun place to be. The FDOC information is here. The daily schedule for a typical daily schedule for the FDOC women's facility is between 5 and 6 a.m. They wake up for count. Lights must be on, and the officers must verify every single inmate. But let me go back. When you go to sleep in a jail, it is not quiet. They may have some quiet moments, but someone's either crying and screaming and banging and talking or self-pleasuring. Yes, women do it too, booze. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I knew somebody who was in jail and they talked about a lot of that stuff. I actually interviewed her for one of my classes. I had to do a paper. For those of you who don't know, I am in college. I'll be graduating in December at the age of 54 with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, and I will be going for my master's and then PhD. So, echo again. Is it still echoing? Wonder why. Let me turn this off. Is there an echo? Dang it. Let me reset. They're sending me a new one. Okay, I think I'm back. Is that better? I don't know why that's happening. Well, what it is that I have a Rodecaster Pro 2 that's really glitching, and they are sending me a brand new one. Yay! And then I ship this one back. So we got a lot going on. So your first time live, thank you so much, Linda Long, for joining. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone. Thanks so much for your kindness and staying while I did my reboot. So the night times are really difficult. Now, depending on the unit, and I mean, granny unit may be a little better, but it just depends. But yes. Wow, amazing, great message out there. Yes, I'm an older. Oh my gosh, Joe Schmo's in the house. Just got back from Con. Oh, Joe, I wish you could come on. You got Vinnie Poland Oh, Nancy Grace tomorrow if I can track her down. Oh, good for you. Joe Schmo, I want to go next year. You're gonna have to give me all the ins and outs because I want to go to CrimeCon next year. Where is next year's CrimeCon? I need to know that. If they've announced it yet. I don't know if they've announced it yet. But I'm talking about today. What, by the way, Joe, y'all don't know. Y'all got to go to Joe Schmo's. I really can't say it straight, Joe. Maud, can someone put up Joe Schmo's channel? We've got a bunch of new people in here. You got to go check Joe Schmo out. He's amazing. I love Joe Schmo. Oh, yes, Las Vegas. Here we come. You know, I've been to Las Vegas 21 times, but the last time I went to Las Vegas was in 1997. So, yeah, it's been a long time. Yeah, that's going to be awesome. Somebody please pop up Joe Schmo's channel, and y'all need to go check him out. He's amazing. Echo again. How is it echoing again? Testing, testing. Let me do this. Hold on. I wonder if my hearing aids are interfering. Hold on. Testing, 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 testing. Why am I not getting testing? I'm not even getting a monitor in my ear. Joe, are we still echoing? Are we still going echo? I don't know what to do. Okay, I just unplugged the mic and plugged it back in. Let's see how that works. And you don't have an echo? Okay, good. Thank you for that. I don't know why I cannot hear myself in my monitor. See, I'm getting a whole new replacement. They're replacing my thing, Joe Schmo. I really got onto them in Rodecaster is replacing. Yeah, baby, Las Vegas. I'll just unplug the mic when that happens. So nights are hell. So you wake up at 5 or 6 a.m. She probably won't get a whole lot of sleep for the first couple of nights. Lights on, officers will validate you, verify that every inmate is where they're supposed to be. 6:30. Now, in this particular facility, 6:30 is breakfast, but I know in some prisons it's as early as 3 o'clock, depending on their population. End of May next year. Oh, thank you for subscribing to Joe Schmo. So 6:30 is breakfast, cafeteria style. The food is mass produced. It's crappy. It sucks. It's often criticized for being bland and low quality. Yes, and as we know, Miss Donna Adelson's already filed a lot of complaints and complained about the food, and she wanted to be released and have her bond reduced and be sent home on ankle monitor because she was gaining weight. It's high carbs, not healthy. Okay. Yeah. So the food sucks. I have had jail food. No. I'm a prison food. No. I've not been an inmate, but I have eaten there. I have visited many times. I've been there both as a chaplain and visiting my ex-husband. Those small ear controls. Von der Bort. So I will tell you, these contacts are making it so much easier. I don't have to sit here and do this with my bifocals. These are bifocal contacts, although the bifocal part needs to be worked on a little bit, but it's far better than what I have. So at 7:30 in the morning, they must, if they're in the work programs, they must go to their assigned jobs: laundry, kitchen, janitorial, groundskeeping. Donna, due to her age, might be given light work like folding laundry or clerical task, or be excused entirely. But I don't think that's going to happen. Being that Donna used to run a dental office, and she used to keep the books and do a lot of clerical work for her husband's dental practice, I think that's probably more where they're going to gear her to. They could put her in medical, but here's a little caveat to that. Even doctors are not even in prison. Doctors who become prisoners, inmates, or nurses who become inmates often are not put in the medical because they know too much and they know how to mix and hide and know how to hurt people. So she may not be in the medical. I don't know. We'll see where they do. At 11 a.m. is lunches served in the chow hall, quick, controlled movements, meaning you don't sit there and eat comfortably blue 5 minutes, 10 minutes. They have a limit. They do have educational classes, GED or vocational program, but her age, she will not be placed in that. Religious services, chaplain visits, Bible studies. Well, let's see if she continues her Jewish faith. How about the new close cardigans she wore? Yeah, well, they did that. She may not be writing the checks, that's for sure. They won't be doing. She wore that to make her look like an innocent granny. I almost didn't get in because I registered with the name Joe Schmo, which is surprisingly enough doesn't match the name on my driver's license. Joe. All right, Joe, I hope it doesn't bother you, but I love saying Joe Schmo. There's a story. I used to work at the state hospital for the physically insane and those who are either incompetent to withstand trial or found not guilty by reason of insanity. The unit I worked on was not only did they have schizophrenia, schizoaffective, bipolar, or whatever, they also were the elderly unit, and most of them had a form of dementia along with other physical problems. And one of the guys there used to walk around and he had a way of going, no. And I'm just, Joe Schmo. I know I shouldn't tease you like that. I'm sorry, Joe Schmo. You're amazing. So she will have the ability to plug into her faith. They do hold services and stuff. But I find it funny that she wanted kosher meals somewhere she was being held. And I'm like, why? When your daughter got married, y'all lied about serving kosher meal to his family, who were strict kosher people, and ended up not serving a kosher meal at the wedding in which they all ate. Thank you, K-Swan, for joining. Thank you so much for being here. And then recreation, a courtyard, time, walking track, basketball court, weight areas. But older inmates usually just kind of walk laps. A lot of inmates kind of just do their lap walking. Joe, sure, really seen you in other, thought that was your name. No, that's not his real name. Jewish when it matters. She is so fake. Yes. Hi, Justice Jane. Hey. Hey, Justice Jane. Thank you so much for joining. I greatly appreciate it. Yeah, the more you listen, the more you learn. And here's the thing. She's probably already learned how to make granny hooch and all that kind of crazy stuff. She's already probably learned about how to make money using her commissaries and stuff like that. So a lot of them just do a lot of lap walking and things like that. Some of these places will have a group activity, such as maybe group yoga, chair yoga, I don't know, any other kind of self-help groups they may have. And then that's also when they do the medical visits, which really suck, because guess what? In jail, you need dental work. If it's cheaper to pull it than it is to fix it, it's going to be pulled. It is crappy medical care, horrible dental care. So this woman is gone are the days of incredibly good dental care. You ain't going to get it. Dinner, she may not die with all her teeth. That's all I can say. Yeah, they're not going to be giving her a lot of jobs. I heard him going through recycling bins down the street. He's really thankful. I love him when I can. Oh, so about 4 p.m. they serve dinner, or 4:30 p.m. or 4:30. Oh no, she's not going to be happy with that. Well, thank you, Little Miss. Yes. Just a welcome party. A lot of, hey, Joe, I get a picture with Emily D. Baker if you can. That's who I'd be going for. One of the ones I'd be going for. And RA, as Mr. RA is there, he would be fabulous. So 4:30 p.m. ish is dinner. Our junior prime minister gave everyone a free dental day after he was elected into. Oh, well, hey, there you go. Dinner is horrible. Their food is absolutely horrendously bad. So I look to see her losing weight. In fact, we may see some kind of weight loss on her before sentencing. Evenings are free time, day room, watching TV, playing cards, making phone calls, or just sitting in common area. 9 to 10 p.m. is final count and lights out. Meals or standard meals include basic like beans, rice, chicken patties, pasta, and vegetables, bread. She ain't going to like any of that. That's a lot of carb. Portions are small. Many inmates rely on commissary, ramen, tuna, peanut butter, and coffee for supplements. Donna will, if she needs a special diet like low sodium diet, diabetic diet, cardiac diet, depending on her health, they will give her that, which is like cardboard. When interacting with others is going to be very interesting. With the interacting with others, there's going to be risk factors that they have to take into account because her case was a high profile. She may face a lot of hostility, especially since it involved a family red room for hire. They frown on that. That's supposed to be your son-in-law. That's the father to your grandchildren. Yeah, that may not go over well. Women prisons are more vicious than the male prisons. And it is very much so a very hostile and volatile environment most of the time. There may be, depending on the unit, she may get a very calm unit because of her age. The FDOC may keep her separate to prevent conflict or explosions, and that could be just a few weeks, a few months. That could even be a year or two. And this special groups or social groups, women in prison have cliques based on their age, religion, and commissary trading. Elderly inmates sometimes get overlooked, but they also may be respected as non-threatening. Dang it, I missed it. Phone calls will be limited to a very small approved list, monitored and time capped. 15 minutes. They may have, I think, depending on the prison, 5 to maybe 10 people maximum. I think I've heard 5 is about the average. And yeah, her superior attitude, Deborah, is going to hurt her. Definitely. She's going to be humbled real quick if she hadn't been. Probably should do a live from there if I can find an appropriate time and place. Yeah, I seem to remember EDB did it in the hallway of the hotel. Yeah, she did one year in the hallway of the hotel. Josh T. from the Courtroom Confidential did a short live from CrimeCon tonight. Their booth is right beside Body Bags booth. Oh, that's cool. The phone call situation is, it depends. Some of them have rolling phones that are on like this rolling pole thing. Other ones are built into the wall. So it really depends. The phone calls are very difficult and they're super expensive. And I know that her family has money. It depends on what kind of support she has from her husband and family. And the thing is that sometimes commissaries are capped. In a prison, it may be a little different, depending on the prison. Now, here in Texas prison, there was a cap on how much you could have at any one time. I think it was 300, where my ex was. The only people approved are family and friends in all secured areas, and they do go through background checks in the prison. Number one, the prison can refuse them. But here's something that's interesting. If Donna puts her husband on her visitation list, and all of a sudden Donna decides, I'm in a fight with my husband, I don't want to see him here again, and she takes him off that list, it's really hard to get him back on. But she can take someone off the list and refuse them to come see her. And it is true. Commissary spending limit is about $100 a week, but she'll need money for her inmate account. And that's what I was talking. I think it's $300 maximum. Did anyone give me? Well, it was here in where my ex was, but it depends on this facility. It depends on how much they allow you to have. They may not have a limit, but you can spend $100 a week. So it kind of keeps people from spending $500 or $600 and selling it and making more money. And yeah, I think Florida cap is $150 a week. It was just increased. Oh, thank you, Angela. Yep, I'm going to visit with you. Not tonight, though, Boo. Not tonight. It's 1 o'clock, and it's after 1 o'clock my time. So they did increase it to 150, but everybody has the same limit, so that's good. Not everybody has the money, though. All non-legal mail is opened and inspected. Well, yes, but let's talk about the mail. It used to be you can mail. I could go to the store and buy a magazine. I could buy a book and mail it myself. Now the books and everything and the magazines and anything like that have to be ordered from a secured spot like Amazon or certain places that they will permit you to order. And you can order certain items from those places that are pre-approved by prisons. Now, I don't know for sure about the FDOC as to what items would be in that, but the magazines have to come straight from the manufacturer. They cannot come from me. So I can't say, hey, that's a cool magazine, I'm going to send it. No, it has to be ordered and shipped. You can buy newspapers and magazine by subscription. So they come every quarterly or monthly or whatever. That is fine. But they will comb through those and make sure that those are safe. Hit the bed, Joe. Thank you for listening. Dreaming of the liquid scrambled eggs at the breakfast bar in the morning. Well, I'm glad you're there, and I hope you have a fabulous time. Pick me up a souvenir, Joe. Get me something cool. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. The medical checks. Okay, we're going to go back to medical. Regular health checks in prison medical care. Florida has been described as overburdened and inadequate. Yeah, that's all over the United States. Yeah, she'll be lucky to get a breast exam every 10 years. Lucky to get a female exam every 10 years. And if she's got a health issue, it's going to take a while for them to get to her. Unless it's something that is life-threatening, yeah, boo, good luck with that. She will likely be a frequent user of the infirmary because of her age. And mental health monitoring for the, of course, like we've said, the self-harm watch. It does not just end. They may put her in a transition unit and then eventually in the permanent unit, but they will watch her for quite some time. And one thing that inmates can and will do is that they'll say, oh, so-and-so told me that they wanted to hurt themselves. Oh, they've said it multiple times, and then they get put into that unit for a day or so. A lot of times it's payback for people not doing what they want them to do. I think she was impressed that he was finally able to breathe a little. Yeah. I think he does love her, but it's one thing to love somebody. Like with my ex, I really didn't think he was going to be found guilty. Of course, I wasn't in the courtroom. I was a witness, and I, at the request of his attorneys, did not go into the courtroom because even though I was his wife, I could have. But they told me that the jury would believe me more if I didn't. And little did I know that they were throwing me under the freaking bus. It didn't work. I'm still here. But the problem is that no matter how much you love the person, he is going to have to financially, emotionally, physically separate from her if he hadn't already. There will be a divorce. Otherwise, he must have enough more money than God or his, I don't know. He's going to be paying a lot of debt, and it's going to be very difficult. He's got to find his way, because the victims can sue, are going to sue. And it's not just the family, the mother and father. It could be the children. It could be anybody that's a victim in this case can sue. So I'm just saying there's going to be a lot of financial hits if he doesn't separate from her. Older inmates like Donna are at risk of exploitation, not only of money or commissary influence, but also intimate acts. Because of her wealth and the media exposure, the FTC makes be especially cautious and placing her in a low contact housing or monitor her more closely for average inmate. They will probably put her in a place where, if there's a unit that has an inmate that preys on people when they first come in and try and manipulate them or take advantage of them or whatever, or try to exploit them, they won't put them in that unit. So my guess is she will be in an isolated situation for quite some time, or in the granny unit. Believe it or not, her wealth is going to actually hurt her to a point. In other words, her prison life is going to be highly structured. It's going to be very, very, very monotonous, and it's going to be stripped of all of her freedoms. The day will revolve around count, meal, and routine. At her age, she's less likely to work or participate in programs and more likely to spend her time in the medical unit, religious services, or quietly in the dorm. Hi, June! Have fun. Have fun. I'll wait for your response, Miss Junior. Up. Now, I want to talk about hygiene, believe it or not. Well, first of all, what happens at 5 a.m. is the lights are snapped on. The officers walk through the dorms, counting each roommate. She will have to sit up on her bunk as her name is called by the DOC. Number check. There's no privacy. Everyone must be visible. 5:30 a.m. She will line up for communal sinks and toilets. No personal products beyond what the prison provides, or she buys from commissary, bar soap, state issue toothbrush, and a shared mirror. And the mirrors are pieces of metal that are screwed into the wall and are so scratched up she will probably never clearly see her face again. Oh, yeah, I'm sure she may have a target on her back. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. At 6, after, now, when shower. And I don't know about this particular unit, but sometimes showering, it depends on the medical units, like she may end up on, or the granny unit may have a little more privacy. I've got a hair that's bothering me. They may have a little more privacy than the standard units, because a lot of times they need more room because they may have medical or assistive equipment. And a lot of those shower stalls will probably be what is called ADA compliant. That is something that those units must have. It's 7:30 a.m., so time for coffee. Well, I'm still in holiday mode. Well, lucky you. I'm not in holiday mode. I wish I was in a holiday mode. But she will have she will pee and poop and shave and whatever, and in person. If they do get a razor, they check it out. They must check it back in, and it must have all parts to it, or nobody will leave the room until they find it. About 6 a.m., she will walk to chow in the hall, or she will eat either in the dorm that she's in, or they will take her to the chow hall. Might be powdered eggs, oatmeal, grits, bread, or coffee. She will eat quickly. Meals are 10-15 minutes maximum. 7 a.m. is the morning count back to the dorm for another head count. The day cannot begin until all inmates are accounted for. The work assignments are program time at 8 a.m. If medically cleared, she will be assigned light duties, like we said earlier, probably laundry or wiping tables or sweeping or some light work like that. If they excuse her from any and all, yeah, she's going to have a sad life. They will, if she's excused from any and all work, she will sit in the day room with the other inmates, bored out of her ever freaking mind, while the younger or more abled elderly people go actually do some work. They get paid pennies on the hour. Yep, June. 11 a.m. Usually lunch is going to be, like we said, rice, beans, macaroni, chicken patty, vegetables. Donna will eat and return to her dorm. In the afternoon from 12 to 3:30, the recreation, she can walk in the yard, track, or sit under the sun with other inmates. Chapel day, she may attend her religious service. If it's a medical day, she will spend the hours waiting to see a doctor or nurse if needed. Most days, she will simply just stay in the dorm reading, writing letters, or watching TV in the common area. That gets very boring and monotonous, and those days get very long. No, holiday is fine. Oh, I'm going to go to sleep in a little bit. We don't have to be up at 7:30 in the morning. We do. What's bright and early tomorrow or today? What do we have on the docket? What's on the docket? I didn't think we had anything on the docket. Oh my God, please don't tell me we got anything on the docket. I got to move an entire business out of a 2,000 square foot space we've not finished. 4 p.m. is the smallest meal of the day, just FYI. It's pasta, stew, cold sandwiches. By now, many inmates eating their commissary food instead, if they have it. Oh, you have an appointment. Oh, man, that sucks. All for the custody of the kids. Yeah, you deserve everything that's coming to you, huh? 5 to 7 p.m. Once again, it's the phone calls. It's the shower in a commercial stall area, some downtime with their inmates in the day room. Everyone returns to their bunks at 7:30. Officers walk through and verify the numbers again. At 8 to 9:30 is free time again, phone calls, TV, inmates play cards and all that. The final countdown is at 9:30. They are locked in their rooms. The officers walk through with flashlight. Donna lies in her bunk and will hum of the fluorescent lights and the sound of 150 plus women around her. And you know what's sad? It repeats every day, little variation, except for scheduled medical visits, occasional religious services, or once a week commissary pickup. It is going to be boring as Hades. Now, there's going to be a lot of challenges she's going to face. She's going to have to adjust to a lot of things. Number one, the loss of control. She does not have control of her life. She has lived a life of wealth and status and control. In prison, she has none of that. She's going to learn real quick. The control that she had cost her dearly. She cannot choose her food. She can't choose what she wears. She can't choose her daily schedule. She can't choose even the bathroom she uses or the public or anything. Everything is done for her. Who do we have in the morning? Somebody help me. What's tomorrow morning? I'm getting tired. And then the officers and younger inmates will dictate her place and will dictate her pace for that day. The inmates will dictate where she is in the pecking order. All of that will be done. She has lost the ability to think for herself, to do for herself. I mean, it is a total stripping. Oh, I'm sorry, real time, but thank you so much for hanging with me. Her wealth of being wealthy, older, high profile woman makes her stand out in the population. And well, that's not a good thing. The safest place to be in the population is blended. They will try to extort her, demand commissary money. They will try to bribe her. And I mean, it's just, they're going to assume that she has money on the outside and that people. Oh, I'll look at the schedule in a minute, y'all. I will. I thought we were going to have more time with Donna than we did. But the younger people and those who love to those who love to play the game in prison will control her movements and a lot of things. And when you have money on the outside, they think that your husband or your family could put money on their books. And what they'll do is they'll try to say, look, if you give me $100 a week on my books, boo, I'll protect you. I'll make sure no one hurts you. I'm going to become your bitch. And that's not how it's going to be. And then you've got those who are what we call jailhouse lesbians. And they will say, well, if you want us to leave you alone, and you're going to have to pay for it. This is going to be very difficult. She's going to have to pay for protection throughout her stay there with commissary. Women in prison have their own culture, their own cliques, their own alliances, and they have a lot of unwritten rules. Donna won't know these rules for a while. She will have to experience them. For example, one of those rules is, oh, boo, that's so-and-so place. You can never sit there. That has to be open. I mean, you've got your pod bosses, you got your day room, people who control the day room. If you are white, you can't talk to a black. If you're black, you can't talk to native. If you're native, you can't talk to Mexican. If you're the Crip, you can't talk to the blood. I mean, it is all of that, and she's going to have to learn it all. If she takes a misstep, it can lead to a conflict, and then that can lead into disciplinary or even her being hurt or even being unalived. If she's in isolation, most of the inmates rely on family support through the visits and phone calls. Donna's family ties are fractured. Her son is also convicted. She won't be seeing him ever again. Her daughter, Wendy, may distance herself. She already has. And she will have very few visitors, making it emotionally isolating and hostile environment for her. Loneliness and shame could even worsen for Donna Adelson, and depression and the self-harm risk. Sometimes what happens is that inmates will go through the self-harm risk and get themselves out. I'm fine. I'm not going to hurt myself. They fool the system. And then once they are comfortably in a dorm, they unalive themselves. So just because they get out of the self-harm risk does not mean that she is out of that actual risk. I wonder if Rob will have a new relationship with his dad since Donna is no longer in the picture and in control. Possibly. It depends on if the dad still believes his wife is innocent or if he believes that she's guilty. But Rob may be distancing himself, and that whole family is shattered. Prisons often provide minimal medical care. Chronic conditions like arthritis, heart disease, and diabetes even worsen. Do you know that a lot of times if you have diabetes or pre-diabetic, you're not guaranteed your insulin or your medication on time or even daily. If there's a lockdown, you may not get your meds. If there's a shortage, you may not get your meds. It is not a very stable healthcare environment for somebody who may have medical conditions. If you have high blood pressure, you may not get your pills every day. Her medical health will be under a severe strain. Grief of her conviction, loss of her family, harsh living condition can cause her to age rapidly. You think she has aged a lot already in prison? I mean, in the jail, she will even age faster in the prison system. Inmates often talk about breaking in the prison life. For Donna, what does that mean? It means learning how to sleep in a noisy dorm and sleep in a room that is not totally dark. coping with the unappetizing, horrendously bad food, accepting the constant strip searches and lack of privacy, and enduring disrespect from officers who don't treat her with any dignity, or they don't treat her in the level of respect and elevation that she's used to. Keeping to herself will be her best friend. Older inmates often tried to avoid drama by staying quiet, reading, writing, and attending religious groups. She needs to find and form her allies. She may gravitate towards the older women who tend to form protective cliques, rely on faith and routine, religion, daily rituals, and journaling, and common coping strategies in prison. Who knows? She might even abandon her faith because there's not a lot of her faith in prison. She may go to another faith. Medical exemptions. Her age may excuse her from work duties, which we've already talked about. Well, thank you so very, very much. I appreciate it. Like Bill Markell, he hopes she lives another 120 years. Oh, I know. That was horrible. I mean, appropriately said. She has been painted the matriarch of this family, the one of the conductors of it all. She may go the other way. Yeah. I felt so bad for Donna. It's sad all the way around. You know, it is sad all the way around. I don't know what in the world possessed her to think she was going to get away with this. In short, Donna's biggest adjustment challenge will be the loss of control, vulnerability in the prison system, emotional isolation, and at her age, survival will depend less on the physical toughness, is more on her ability to stay low, keep that low profile, avoid conflict, and quietly adapt to the harsh new reality of her life. And that has been my rundown on Donna Adelson and her life and what's going to be happening. I hope that helped y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed that. I will tell you that like I said, my husband was in prison and I started YouTube as jail widow. Oh my gosh, puzzle pieces. Thank you. Oh, I know, right? Puzzle pieces. Thank you so very much. You're my first super chat of the night. Thank you. Oh, well, thank you. But I will say that when we are in, when I went and visited my ex, it would look like a airport terminal seating. Those are the same chairs. And the food was from vending machines and they were horrible. And I mean, the best thing you can get is Dorito chips. Dorito chips. The potato chips, you will get them, but they're often stale. Coffee is instant coffee is valuable. And she's already learned some of this because she's been in jail. Some people think jail is far harsher than prison, and I tend to agree with that. The reason why I agree with that is because when you are in jail, you've got a lot of people coming and going all the time. You've got a lot of people who are detoxing. You've got a lot of people who are in different gangs. You've got a lot of people who don't know anything about the system. Then you have those who know a lot about the system. You have a lot of different variables every single day. You don't know who's going to be there, who's coming, who's going. So, and we saw a video of her in her room. It's a big open room, probably about 50 beds, if I average that right. But when you're in a prison system, it's more stable as far as who's there. You know who's going to pretty much be there every day. You get in a routine. You get yourself in a kind of in a groove. It's not a pleasant one, but there's a lot more stability. I think at first her husband, if he's not totally dumped her butt, I think that her husband will, if he was anything like me, I told the news media and everybody, until I see evidence that my ex-husband was guilty, I was going to support him. And that's what I want somebody to do for me. If I said I'm innocent and I'm married, I want my spouse to support me. But after trial, I finally got to see the evidence and he was guilty. And so this divorce happened and I was gone. But in the beginning, you're in a form of denial. And that's when I started doing YouTube as Jail Widow. And I did it because I wanted to educate people what it was like and what to expect when your loved one goes to jail. So if I was talking to her husband right now, I'm going to say, get ready to send her money, get ready to start forking out a lot of money. Get ready to, you're going to have to deal with a lot of stuff because when you go away for life, there's a lot of stuff on the outside you will never use again. All of her clothes will have to be dispersed. All of her jewelry will probably go to her daughter, or her husband may keep it. If they haven't already done all this, all of her possessions will be dispersed. It's almost, it really is like someone had died. And the only thing you don't have is a death certificate. I kid you not. That's what it was like. And it's not fun. I told people that when I don't want to go into it, I tell people a lot that I lost my husband to a situation. And a lot of people think it's death, but it was a form of death. My marriage died. We died. My life and our children died when I was in that courtroom and they said the word guilty. Thank you, real-time state of confusion tonight. My first time Ada case came across my timeline. Well, I'm glad I came across your timeline. Thank you very much. Real-time me surfing, LOL, impressed with the host and the content. Well, I really hope you come back. I normally am not live this late at night, but I do go live a lot, depending on what's going on. When we don't have trials, I might go on a little later. Thank you so much. Please spread the word about our channel. We are young, we are growing. Yes, and my mods are freaking fabulous. I can't do this without my mods. So there's going to be a lot of things going on for him. It's a huge adjustment. He's literally everything that you would do for a deceased spouse, pretty much. I'd say 90% he's going to have to do for her. He's going to have to get her off of everything. Okay, I'm just checking Discord. So it's going to be a huge adjustment for him. Huge. I know he's been living alone for some time. He's got a new place. I get all that. But reality is setting in. She's not going to come home. And that's really sad. Oh, well, thank you so much, real time. I may go through this again tomorrow. We'll see. I don't know. My son's business, we had to close it down because part of the thing is rent, just all that stuff. Well, thank you, Linda Long. So I have 2,000 square feet of space that I need to empty out with him. And I live in a home that's 1,200 square foot and I have nowhere to put any of it. I had to move my studio home. This is a new location for my studio. This is a new background. It may not even stay like this. I just threw this up here. Everything is different. That's why I've had some little glitches going on because when you move stuff, my studio, I have 3 monitors going this way. I have 1 monitor up here that's 4. I have an iPad over here. I have the cell phone. I have the ATM Mini Extreme switcher here. I have the Rhodes Caster Pro here, the Stream Deck keyboard mount. I mean, it's if anybody knows who RA is, I have a setup like this. So it's been a lot of changes and a lot of heavy changes right now. Do you know what I think at this age? I don't think he needs to find anybody because I'll be honest with you. He's going to grieve. He's grieving the loss of his son. Well, first of all, his son-in-law, the divorce, then the red room, the loss of his son. I'm sure he and Wendy are not in the best of relationships. The loss of his wife, the loss of his grandkids. I don't know if he's seen them much, if he is seeing them. So this man has got a lot of one point. By the way, go back and watch today's show. I may do it again tomorrow. I showed a clip that someone made where they do the virtual walkthroughs so they had pictures of the condo that he bought. Of course, it's not his furniture and stuff in it, but man, it is super nice, but it's so not my style. It is so modern. I did not like it at all. Yeah, I have a lot going on. Also, I'm taking 18 hours of college credit to graduate this December. I have homework I've got to catch up on. Yep. Well, Wendy, bachelor pad. That's right. That's what we called it. We called it his bachelor pad. Yes, it looks like a bachelor pad. But in all honesty, I don't think he's going to be playing the bachelor. I think it's just a place to hide. I think he's going to be a turtle and pull in if he's smart. And 18 hours of college credit. Yep, I'm doing that between now and December. He may be facing charges and other legal issues. I don't think so. I think if anything, it may be a misdemeanor. I really can't. Accessory after the fact, maybe. Yeah. Well, here's a problem. She took a deal, and she may have had to, and most of the time when you take a deal like that, you have to surrender your passport. Yeah, because they want to make sure you come and testify. So I doubt that she has an ability to leave the country at this point, to be honest with you. Just saying. But today I've been live for 11, 12, 14 hours today. So it's a long day. But the civil court is another thing. I'm talking criminal. Civil is a whole nother ballgame because he was married to Donna at the time that this crime occurred. Even if he divorces her, they can come after him. And they will probably strip him of every penny he's got. And they will have to do a financial evaluation on him. It will be, there's going to be no hiding this money. And the wrongful death, that's right. And the other problem is that their son had a ton of money. He had a ton of money and a lot of cash on hand. I don't know where all his money went because he was not married. So I would venture to say maybe Wendy got it. If they're smart, all the money, and if he's smart, Grandpa's smart, he would have had an attorney and they would have put everything in trust for those kids. And yeah, that would have been the smartest thing to do because that way then the government, then it can't be touched. But some of the things that's going to happen is he's going to have to deal with bank accounts. He's going to have to do with wills. He's going to have to do with life insurance policies. A lot of them will not. If you've got a life insurance policy, you got to see if it will cover you while you're in prison. If he's smart, what he'll do is get a life insurance policy on his wife from a company that would allow you to have one from prison. That will be an interesting trip. Yes, thank you so much. So that is so true. And then, so the wrongful death, but here's a problem. You can't sue Charlie. He's got nothing. You can't sue McBonwa or the two men. They have nothing. Donna personally is going to have nothing. The only one you can sue is Charles and Wendy. Now, I don't think, if I was in the shoes of the Markells, I wouldn't sue Charles because there's not enough evidence to prove that he knew about this. In fact, there's more evidence to prove he didn't because in the emails between Donna and her daughter and her daughter and her dad, between Wendy and Donna and between Wendy and Charles or Charlie, there was more information and comments that said, don't tell dad. Has you told him anything? He doesn't know anything. I think that was true and honest comment. So I think it's going to be harder to go after dad, but that doesn't mean they won't. And they will probably do so in hopes he settles. Oh, thank you so much, you guys. Thank you so very much. You guys are amazing. Yes. So I think going after the father would be a mistake, in all honesty. I think going after Wendy is where you're going to get your bucks. Because personally, Wendy's got money. She's a lawyer. Her children. You don't want to touch the children's money. But Wendy, she's got money. I think that's where you want to go. but we'll see what they choose to do. I think they're right though. And let me see. Oh, 10 a.m. That is right. Megan Boswell sentencing baby Evelyn Red Room trial for 10:30 a.m. I can handle that. Okay. 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm tired of getting up at 6:45 in the morning. I am so tired of these 6:45 in the morning hearing. So I need to create a thumbnail and do all that. So I'll probably be up by about 9:30 in the morning. Thank you, Jesus. And guess what? If I don't make it, I don't make it. I am so, and a lot of the things is I've averaged my sleep out over the last 7 days. I've had less 3 hours a night on average. So I am still not recovered from 2 nights ago. 2 nights ago. Okay. Lovely. I'll see it in a minute. Let me see. I don't see you in my DMs yet, boo. Did you DM me? Oh, you will DM me. Okay. What? No. I may have to. Let me look at the calendar. I am not used to not having my glasses on, and it feels weird. Barry Morphew. Okay. Oh, wait. Colt Gray. What time is Colt Gray? Oh, Kendra Cooper. Oh, crap. I might get up at 9. I'll get up at 9. I will just I may not even do a thumbnail for tomorrow, though. Oh, no wonder that was going. I couldn't figure it out. I had a video in the background playing. I really, really do feel bad for Grandpa. I call him Grandpa, the dad. I really do feel bad for the dad. Thank you so much, Puzzled. Oh, thank you so very much. You're so kind. Thank you so much for your blessings. You guys, I really do appreciate it. I do not take you guys for granted at all. I'm going to, let's see if I want to watch this because it's a different angle. Let me see. Let's see. Why can't I hear it? Let me get my hearing aids. Let me get my hearing aids adjusted. I got to connect my hearing aids. They're not connected. I'm put this up on the screen as the interview again. I want to play it because it's face on. I can actually see her. I lip read 90% of what I see.
Especially since she denied it.
Because of my deafness.
Yeah, I went to Vietnam. I didn't want to get arrested. But she didn't do that. She oversold, so that was helpful.
I'll just do this.
Yes.
How did you guys find that?
I know.
An aha moment?
Yeah. Kind of dumb luck. That thing is so dense, and there's a bunch of them. So we've just been sort of perusing them, and somebody just stumbled upon it and had an aha moment.
What about Rob Adelson's testimony? How key was that?
Okay, we're going to back this up and play it.
Be careful because we jumped the gun. We didn't let you take a moment and think about this and ask you about this. So before we ask you the question that's on a lot of people's mind, what's it like in this moment? What was it like to have this defendant be found guilty?
I think I just feel kind of honored to be able to deliver this win for the Markells. We've heard so much about a win for the Adelsons, and everything that was lost in those efforts. So it's just been really cool to be a part of this win.
During one of the pre-trials, you said these trials that have become my life. It's a lot of trials at this point. Talk about what happens when you're a prosecutor and you have to continue to follow cases like this one.
Well, I do have other cases. People don't know that. There are other cases in this office. And I care about, all of them, but obviously this has become sort of a part of my DNA after investing so much blood, sweat, and tears into this case and getting justice.
So yeah, it's been an epic battle.
Was this one tougher than Charlie's trial?
I don't know. I mean, I'm older, so I think it is. I think everyone is tougher than the last. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, more time passes and there's more stuff. There's more phones. There's more records. There's more emails. So it's a lot to organize, and it's a lot of little pieces to try to put together and try to create something cognizable that a jury can follow and get their head around.
In Georgia, opening statements right out of the gate, Jackie Fulford appropriated Professor Markell's nickname, calling him Danny. A lot of people were upset about that. Did that bother you?
Not as much as it bothered some other folks. I understood what she was trying to do. It was not the classiest move, and I think she kind of realized that and seemed to correct that over the course of the trial. But yeah, probably not a great move.
And what about the amount of deliberations? Is roughly the same as Charlie, maybe a few minutes more, but not much. That surprised you? Because some people were predicting a longer deliberation.
A little bit. I actually lost. I thought it would be slightly shorter, but I was being pretty ambitious. But yeah, it wouldn't have surprised me if it had been more difficult for them, because it was a large puzzle that kind of had to be put together. But I guess they got what they needed and they knew what they had to do.
Will this be the last prosecution, sir?
You are asking the question. Why are you that guy?
Were you surprised by the
I like her
strategy
personality.
throwing Wendy and Charlie under the bus? And was the adoptive admissions ruling something that you pre-planned or something that you all came up with at the last moment?
We had a few incarnations of how to deal with the fact that she had adopted Charlie's really ridiculous story previously, and we didn't want her to be able to distance herself from that and create a new, better defense, which she did seem to kind of try to be doing. So we did want to try to shove that on her and then, try to explain that to the jury. Okay, here's this whole other defense that she already adopted, and it's complicated, and it has all its pushback that goes with it. So it did feel like a difficult minefield.
This reminds me of an after a boxing match interview.
To wade through to be able to explain all that to the jury, but we wanted to make sure they understood that, hey, she's already committed to this defense that's a loser, and now she's trying to switch it up and go to this whole other place, and you've got to pick a lane. It can't be both. So I think that's kind of what we were trying to do. So hopefully we were successful.
It sounded like the new investigation developed a lot of crazy evidence, including you all were planning to use some phone calls that you were not able to use at the trial. Is the sealing of this evidence going to be unsealed once now that Donna has been convicted, or do you know?
I don't know the answer to that. Yeah, I don't know.
And you cannot still comment, I guess, about
I think
the
not,
details.
since it's sealed, right? Yeah.
All right, no comments about.
You imagine it to be, but I don't think I should comment on it since it's sealed by the court.
How did you feel when you found out that Donna was not going to be testified? Somebody tells me you're probably salivating.
I don't know about salivating. Yeah, it's not like I was gonna wow you guys with some amazing new stuff or anything, but I did put tons of preparation into that. So I was a little bit sad when I took my binder that had 110 tabs and packed it away. So yeah, I was a little surprised. She seems like somebody that would want to tell her story, but it gets trickier and trickier.
I wanted to talk about that real quick. I think that was the best move she made, because I think her attorneys probably figured out at this point we in trouble, boo. And I think that they were smart not to put her on the stand, because if anyone was on the fence, I think putting her on the stand would have put the nail in the coffin again. I don't think she should have testified. Although there's a lot of questions I'd love to have answered.
When all these stories are out there, and she would have had to navigate a lot of stuff to get up there. So I do understand why she made the decision she did, and I think it was a smart one, but I was kind of expecting her to testify.
What was
a year ago
evidence that you thought in this trial might have made a difference that what you came across that you introduced?
I think the fleeing to Vietnam didn't hurt, especially since she denied it. She could have just said, yeah, I went to Vietnam. I didn't want to get arrested. But she didn't do that. She oversold, so that was helpful.
The number and the planner.
Yes.
Talk about that. How did you guys find that? Was it an aha moment?
Yeah. Yeah, kind of dumb luck. I mean, that thing is so dense and there's a bunch of them. So we've just been sort of perusing them and yeah, somebody just stumbled upon it and had an aha moment.
What about Rob Adelson's testimony? How key was that?
I think it was important, didn't you? I mean, I thought he was so genuine and what a guy to be able to do that. You know, I mean, what a terrible situation for him to be put in and to be able to rise above that and do the right thing. It's really impressive.
Did you all wait for this trial to put him on? Why did he not testify previously?
I just didn't want to do it to him unless I felt like it was absolutely necessary, and I really felt like we needed him in this one.
Georgia, when do you have reason to be worried tonight?
You said that word. That's a bad word.
A bad word.
No W questions.
Worry's a bad word.
Well, last time.
Should we say stay
Worry.
tuned? Do we need to stay tuned?
I mean, you can stay tuned.
One other question for me. I mean, your father played football. I understand. It was my first Knowles game, and I take all the credit.
Oh, it was a great one. Lucky you. Go Knowles.
And I found out maybe through the grapevine that someone else in your family is a professional female golfer or that you're close to. Maybe not, but do you get the
sounds cool.
Do you think you get that competitive spirit from from your dad, from your family?
Yes, I think both sides of my family are extremely competitive, and if you came to game night, you would see some pieces being thrown around the room. And
The most important question: do you have a fifth red suit?
I don't know. I'll work on that. I'll work on that.
Number 5.
I'll work on that for you.
Georgia, can I ask you about Charlie Adelson? Last year you were it seemed like the state was going to call him, and ultimately this time around, no one called him to the stand. Why?
Because we didn't want to tangle with him unless we had to, and we felt like we were able to successfully get out the story that he told at his trial and marry Donna to it as much as we needed to without having to wrangle and tangle with him.
If I'm not mistaken, this was the first trial where you guys were able to access WhatsApp messages. Was there a new am I right about that? Was there a new technological
I can't
advance?
remember if we had any WhatsApp messages last time, but they are encrypted, so you really do have to get them off the device itself. So we were able to retrieve some threads
And was that
from
related to
Donna's
getting
device.
From Donna's device. Yeah.
Was your all's case more polished? The demonstratives seem to be up a notch from before.
Yes, that's because I didn't make them. I only directed. I did get some wonderful volunteer help. So I don't know if she wants a shout out or not, but
Were there other things that were new and improved? Some of the witnesses even seem to be testifying a little smoother than before.
I don't know. Did they? I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's a blur.
If the trial,
Yeah, it's all one long day.
if the trial had come forward a year ago, you wouldn't have all the evidence from the new investigation. How significant was to have that note from Drina Bernhardt?
Oh man, I thought it was great.
Okay. We're gonna get me back on stage. Linda Long, oh my God, you became a member. Oh, wow. Thank you so very much. Oh my gosh, I'm getting ready to do something I've never done before. I'm going to be taking some contacts out. I've only worn them today. These are a trial pair. Let's see how I can see if I do a good job at this or not. I don't know. How do you get these things off? Oh my God, I can't get it out. Oh. That was a little difficult to get out, y'all. Oh my gosh, y'all, I couldn't get it out. Yay. I'm going to have to learn how to do this. Oh. I can't. I can't feel it. I can't feel it. Oh, there it is. I could not feel it. It is so weird. Oh, because I can't grip it. It just moved it around, but I'll get used to it. I'll get used to it, guys. I promise. I promise. Oh my gosh. I see her just sitting here sobbing and rocking and crying. Yes. How do you make hearing aids? Do you wear hearing aids, Boo? Part of them is you may be having a reaction to the mold, and if they itch all the time and they're irritated, number one, clean your ears regularly. Clean your hearing aid regularly. I use a little bit of alcohol, and then I use a little bit of they actually sell a moisturizer thing that you can drop on. So you can do that. The other thing is make sure that you're cleaning your ears. People say don't put Q-tips in your ears. Well, I don't put them all the way in, but I put them in enough to make sure that I moisturize and keep all that safe. But part of the thing also is what I'm going to say is that you may be there's some ear molds I can't wear. I have a reaction to. So are you wearing a soft mold or are you wearing a hard mold? These are soft molds. They're hard on the outside. They're soft on the inside. So that may help you. That may seriously help you. It just depends. Oh, thank you so much, Little Miss Red Velvet OG. I look forward to seeing and hearing from you in the comments. And I'm getting mascara all over my face in Discord. Please just send me a quick, hey, it's me. That would be fabulous. Now, as far as the Markells, oh, I understand. As far as the Markel family, my heart goes out to them. This has been horrible for them. It's difficult for them. They too have lost, but it was 11 years ago. And this just keeps opening up that wound. So hopefully this can be some closure for them. And they can start rebuilding their relationship with the grandkids. The grandkids should be getting to the age now where they can have a voice. All right, everyone. Blessings. Thank you so much. It's 2:00 in the morning, my time. I've been on for 3 hours and almost 3.5 hours. I do need to call Miss June quickly. If you're still awake, let me know. Miss June, June S., my mod. Are you still with us? I don't see you anymore. 1:53 is the last I've seen you. Okay. I want to give you a quick call. I'm going to go and reset for tomorrow. I don't know what, I'm not going to do thumbnails or anything tonight. I'll do everything in the morning. You guys have a fabulous, okay, great. I want to talk to you about tomorrow. I'll call you in a minute. Everybody, good night. Be blessed. Have a great evening. Hug your family. Take care of your family. And remember, they're the only family you got. Love on them. Don't go to bed angry. And make sure that you take time to love on yourself as well. And I will see a lot of you, I hope, tomorrow. Thank you for all my new people. Thank you for the new members, the new subs, all of the new people. Thank you. Thank you. And June from the UK, thank you so much for coming on today and helping me with that live when I had to go remote. Thank you so much for your time, your input, and I feel like I've made a new friend. So be blessed, and I'll see y'all in a few hours. I'd say see you tomorrow, but I'll see you later today. Good night, y'all. Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. I hope you have an awesome day. Till next time, take care.